Hello, friends. Welcome to Saturday Night Live. Thank you for waiting. We're having a few technical difficulties with some new equipment with Glennis, and hopefully, Candy can call her and see if they can get her settings set so she can come on in, but didn't want to make you wait any longer. So here I am. Let me check my mic. Give me just 1 second. My mic. Let's see. Mike. There we go. Okay. So if you are watching us on replay, this is Saturday Night Live with Happy Paper People, and we meet every Saturday night at 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time or Mountain Daylight Time, depending on the time of the year. And we do some fun stuff. It's our Saturday Night Live Laugh and Craft. And we craft, but the most important part about tonight is the laugh. Right, Margie? Sometimes we're just a comic show to make you all laugh, what not to do, how to do it wrong, all the ways, but what works. So if you are watching on the replay, we hope you'll give us a thumbs up. We hope you'll enjoy what you see tonight, and we hope you'll learn something new that will help you in your crafting. And most of all, we hope you will be able to join us soon on a live Saturday Night Live. And if you're watching and kind of hanging in the background, that's okay. But we'd sure love for you to come out and say hi. Even if it's hi, I'm working on stuff, so I can't really chat. But then we know you're here and in spirit, and we're thinking of you. So let's see who's here tonight. I know Margie is. I went and said hello to her earlier. Margie was first one in, all set with her thumb up, her drink, and her snack. Ready to go. Sounds good to me. Suze is here. Hey, Suze. And you're on time. Whoop, whoop. Don't forget Suze. Yes. Fast as my one leg and my one arm will take me. Yeah, I'm kind of a gimp right now. I had 2 back-to-back major surgeries. One arm, one leg, opposites. All right, I think we might have Glynis here. Let's try this out. We get Glynis. We've got Glynis, kind of, sort of. We just lost Glynis's video, but there we go. Just covered.
This is what a commotion to try and set this up on the new iPad.
Whoop, whoop. Yeah. I thought as soon as you texted me, I thought we probably should have gone in at 5 o'clock so that if I needed to walk you through settings, we could do that.
So I'm on Firefox and I'm going to put this in my holder.
Yep. I'm just making a single screen, but Glennis is still here. Let's see who else is. Hi, Debbie. So happy to see you. Who else is here? Who else? Hi, Julie. Never hide and lurk. Just jump on in. That's right. This is the friendliest group of people you will ever meet, crafters or artists or non. I'm just telling you, the nicest group of people. They will welcome you in. Glennis, why don't you say crafters or artists? Glennis, check and see if you have a YouTube open on something else.
I'm just turning that off.
No problem. Glennis just came in, and usually we do this before we go live. So she hasn't even had a chance. So we'll give her a minute to do that. Hey, Gigi. Good to see you, Gigi. I sure hope you're feeling better. I know you've had a rough week.
Gigi, I hope you're feeling better too.
Yes. Debbie, I don't even see Candy. So let's see. Able to sit up for a while now, so doing better. Nice. Good. Yay for food. Pineapple and ham sandwich. Nice. I hope Sharon's getting better too. Yummy gummy. That's a good Sammy. Yeah. Oh man, I am just way behind here. I'm going to catch up real fast. Reba. Hi, Reba. Good to see you. I've been thinking about you because we're planning some ATC things. Reba and Margie are my ATC queens. They can teach us everything we need to know about ATCs. What got there? Hey, Mary, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, I am scrolling fast to catch up so we can get started here. Because if somebody's watching on a replay, we sure don't want them to have to wait 10 minutes before we get into something. Because they're not going to stick around.
I am so sorry, everybody.
It's okay. It happens. We just keep going. I know you're figuring it out. Hey, Diane. Was stuck watching dog rescue stories. Sloths. You see the sloths? I love the sloths. Hi, Kathy. Sylvia. Hello, Sylvia. Just got home just in time. Hey, Mariah and Patricia here just in the background. Gessoing. Woo! Gessoing getting ready for tomorrow morning, I assume. Yeah, Julie, she had some of the same issues that you had when we were trying to get you in on Tanya's because she's got a brand new device. Julie had a brand new device, and there's a lot of things you need to check and go through when you have a brand new device. Let's see what else we got here. Cheryl Goebel. Hello, Cheryl. Let's see. Okay, Glennis, let me know when you're set up and I'll bring you back on camera. So
Okay, let's give it a try.
let's give it a try. There we go. Woo! Woohoo, ATCs. Yes, I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited. I've got lots of ideas with ATCs. How big are ATC coins? Let's see. I want to say it's 2.5 inches. Is that correct, Reba? Margie? ATC
I guess
coins.
I was going to say what. Yeah, Margie's saying 2.5. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5. Yep, they are good size. They're not little tiny. It's like taking an ATC card and squish it, cutting the corners off and sticking them on the sides. So you got a coin. No working. Oh, no working on my phone hand. Oh, Dita. Oh, sweet. I have one of those. I have one or maybe two of them.
12-second lag.
Foam, a 12-second lag. Okay, I got some foam heads that I think I still have the wigs on them from when I went through chemo, and you made me think about digging one up and collaging her and making her look pretty again. 2.5 sounds good. Okay, all right, we are caught up. As anybody else comes in, we will welcome them, but we want to go ahead and get started.
I'm
So,
Julie and Debbie.
let's see, when today's Saturday. When did we last meet? We last met on Thursday, and Thursday was mass makes. And what we did was decoupage napkins onto book pages, music pages, and paper. And if you didn't already do that, or if you did it and don't feel like you have enough, keep doing it and get enough. Trim off the excess napkins on them, maybe even press them. I'll probably stick them in my press and just press them all flat because it makes for much prettier prettier envelopes. Because what are we, Thursday? This next Thursday, we are going to mass make mini, teeny, and tiny envelopes, all three sizes. So only from, maybe this big on down. And we're going to do them out of the envelope covered paper, book pages, music pages. And if you want, you could bring along some scrapbook paper. I would recommend bringing all those scrapbook papers that are sitting there because they were the ones you didn't like. They make great envelopes. Trust me, because you can always embellish them too and put things on them. And so just the color is good. What the design is makes no difference on that tiny of an envelope. So bring those. We're going to mass make those. And the following Thursday, we are then going to take some of those envelopes we made and we're going to mass make teeny tiny envelope clusters 2 ways. So 2 different ways of making the clusters, and we'll mass make some of each. So after this 3 weeks, you should have some napkins still on book page that you can, or on, whatever the paper is that you can use as you need it. You should have a whole stash of envelopes, and you should have a whole stash of 2 different types of clusters. So we're really going to build your stash this year fast, taking your supplies and turning them into usable embellishments or usable elements for your books. That is the goal. Now, I always have to preface this with, I'm not just trying to be a tease here, because this really isn't a tease. I just am sworn to secrecy until this is released, and so I can't say it, but I can say everything I can say without telling you what it is. There is something coming that will be announced on the 29th, and if you saw the event in Happy Paper People, it does say big announcement, and we're making boho beads that night, which I'm super excited about. Sidebar for a second. Remember when we did the exploding boxes? And exploding boxes, a lot of people thought are very complicated, very cumbersome. They just take so much time and are very detailed, and have to all this stuff. Anyway, I really broke it down and made it simple. And I sometimes feel like people make that sound much more difficult than it is, so that it will look really impressive when it's done. It always looks impressive because it's just a fun, cool thing. but I don't think it needs to be that difficult. I kind of feel the same about boho beads. I've seen a lot of people make some gorgeous boho beads. Sometimes I feel like they make them a little more complicated than they need to be. And so I've taken that and simplified that down to a simple, easy way to make boho beads that look as good as any I've ever seen out there. And I've seen people, what I've done is take parts and pieces of everybody's and simplified it into a very easy way to do it. So if you look in that event, I did list exactly what you need. And you notice that you don't need a ton of jewelry making supplies and all this stuff. You just need a few things and you'll make some gorgeous, gorgeous beads. So I'm excited about that. So that's the Thursdays. But, my point in saying that was on the 29th, when we make the boho beads, that big announcement is happening. That is Susan's birthday that night. We will sing happy birthday to her. Yeah, we'll definitely sing happy birthday to you. On that night, the big announcement will be made. And I can't tell you what it is right now because I'm sworn to secrecy. I can tell you that all these things that we are doing, I have rearranged and reorganized some things so that the things we are doing will be to your advantage when this announcement comes out. Does that make sense? I want to give you every leg up I can when it comes out, and all the things that we are doing, like the napkins, the envelope clusters, the boho beads, tonight, the book cover, all these things that you're learning or making something new or different than, maybe it's just a different style than what you've done before. They are all going to help you and be to your advantage for that big announcement. So leaving that alone, moving right on. Let's see. Margie, are you chucking a Julie? Uh-oh. Silly Marianne. No, okay, so you'll notice that this hand kind of stays right here and just does this. It's really funny because I feel like this hand is attached to me at the wrist, and so all I have is a wrist and a hand because it can't go anywhere else. This one can move about freely. So I do really have two hands. I just only have one arm. So just awkward when, you need to stretch out an arm or something. Doesn't work. But I kind of twist my body to get my hand over here and then bring this one back here. So I'm learning to function with one hand, one arm. Are we going to do any more with the idea books? Oh, yes. No. Yes, Kathy. Absolutely. So here's the thing with the idea books. Everything we mass make is for your idea book. And everything, like, you're not going to put, obviously, a cover into your idea book. But when we mass make the envelopes, you can take one of each size that you make and put them in the idea book. And then when we mass make the clusters with the envelopes, the two different types of clusters, you can take one of each type of cluster and put it in your idea book. Every single week at least one event, whether it's Monday, Thursday, or Saturday, we will have something that you can add to your idea book. You're going to have a chock full idea book and probably have to make a second one before the year's out. But yes, so every single thing we make, and on your own, if you make an element, make two, at least two, because then one can go into your idea book and one you can use, that you were just going to make. And if you make more, you're now adding to your stash. And as we go along, if there's things that you want to mass make, just shoot me a message and I can check and see if they're on the list. If not, I'll add them to the list. And if people keep, saying they want the same things, those things will get bumped to the top of the list to do first, because I probably have already probably 60 things on the list to mass make. So, it's okay, Suze. It's okay. It's no worry.
Yeah, hopefully the camera had stopped. I'm sorry, I dropped something on the floor and I had to brush the camera to pick it up.
Sometimes we have to tell Glynis it's time to come off of the tightrope and quit swinging back and forth and practicing her circus act. She's, just so multi-talented that sometimes we have to say, all right, come settle down because the rest of us are getting sick. So tonight we're going to make book covers. Many of you have told me that you have never actually put a full journal together. And I will start by saying there are so many different ways to make covers for journals. And all I'm going to show you today is a simple way, makes a beautiful cover every time, but it's a simple way. So if it's the first one you've ever made, then you don't have to be overwhelmed. You don't have to be afraid of it. It really is simple. And it is essentially the same way for fabric and for paper. And we're going to do a fabric one and a paper one. And honestly, we'll probably have time tonight to do more than one. So I have several things out. And if you want to pull more out as we go, you can do that as well. We're not going to put signatures in them. We're not going to do anything else. We're just going to make the cover. I want for you to leave tonight comfortable making a journal cover, just a basic journal cover. And I will also say that you can make a journal cover out of anything, literally anything. We're going to do fabric and paper tonight, but well, here's a good example. One of the fabrics that I have is cork. We can do a cover out of cork. One of the papers that I have is a really cool, thick placemat, and that'll make a really great cover. You can make, we made covers out of the padded envelopes from Amazon a few weeks ago. So literally anything that you can bend or cut and tape into the shape of a book, you can make a cover out of. So if you don't like the look of it, but you like the size or the feel, then you can just cover it or embellish it. Let's see. Old Dutch is my favorite brand, but hey, chips is chips. Yeah, you are right, Kathy. We are going to go crazy on things for your idea book. Okay, so I want to start with the fabric one tonight. That may seem a little backwards to you, but let me move these out of the way. I'm going to start with the fabric one because there are several options or choices or decisions that come up with the paper one that really don't come up with the fabric one. So the fabric one really is, in honesty, the most simple one. So help me decide what we're going to do first. We've got the sloths here. They're awfully cute. I like this one. I didn't have, oh, you know what I didn't have time to do or didn't even think about doing is pressing this fabric. May not matter because sometimes by the time you embellish it or put things on it, and sometimes you can press it when it's after it's made into a cover. I do like this one. It has writers' names, Shakespeare, Dickens, Melville, things like that, and all the pens. That's kind of a cool one. I like this one as well. It's got the luggage. And these I had them sitting here, but I forgot to, here's the dragonflies. I like that one too. But I forgot to pull paper to match for the inside for the bookends. These I already had paper pulled. This is a pretty one, nice spring one. And there's some choices of paper. And I'm going to let you choose the paper that goes with them tonight. There's lavender and green with that one. This is a pretty one. Glennis will probably vote for this one. That's a cool one. And there's a couple of papers that will go with that one really nicely. And I'd let you guys choose the paper.
Gotta be the birds.
Let you guys choose the paper. Here's a Japanese one. Do that. And then, of course, there's the cork one. So I've got a couple different, I really like this paper. I thought this would be nice on the inside of the cork.
Yep, everyone's going for the birds.
The bird, they're all giving Glennis what she wants, huh? This one, right? This one, the blue, what are these?
Flamingos and storks.
I know they're flamingo. Is that a stork? I'm looking at that little tuft of hair on the back of his head.
It's a heron.
That's a heron. Okay, blue heron. A blue heron and a flamingo. It's
in the stork family.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, he does have stork legs. He does have stork legs. Okay, so I'm going to move all of these. Oh.
And that dark blue paper would be great background.
Wouldn't that be pretty? I thought so too, but I thought I'll pull a light one too and see what everybody likes. And then I've got some cool papers for our paper covered one. Okay, Ooh,
Vanessa
look at
Angel
that.
Rose Designs.
That
Don't
is
know who you are, but would love to know your name so we could talk to you.
Japanese. Oh, we did get some vote for Japanese. Originally from Florida, so voting for the flamingos, herons, birds who. Vanessa Angel Rose Design. Hello, crafty angels. And are we to assume that your name is Vanessa? Welcome, welcome.
I saw
Vanessa.
that after I said that.
You said her name but still, we want to confirm. Welcome. We're glad that you're here. And can you just let us know for sure that your name is Vanessa? And we're happy to have you here making book covers tonight. Okay, so I'm going to do this. I'm going to go for just a second here. I'm going to go full screen and
Thanks, Julie.
let you guys look at this and tell me what.
Oh, the blue.
Which color do you want? Blue or flamingo? Welcome, welcome, Miss Vanessa. Oh, Suze knows Vanessa. Suze, why didn't you jump in and tell us that you know her? Come on, vouch for Vanessa. She's my friend. I invited her over. Or
Julie would like blue, but she also said please.
Aw, Julie, so sweet. Okay, Julie says blue.
Kathy and Reba say blue.
Kathy says blue. Margie says pink. Reba says blue. Cheryl says blue and blue. Sorry, Margie. I kind of like that one too, but I also love the blue. You probably just said that because everybody else was saying blue, huh? All right, so we'll use the blue. We will use the C. Yeah, she probably just said that because everybody else is saying. Okay, now, when you get ready to do your book. Okay, this is my fabric, but I'm going to set it aside for just a moment. Because we need a front and a back cover, and we need a spine. Now, I did pre-cut these because it's very awkward with my arm, and I didn't want to take all the time that it would take doing it on screen. So I used a chipboard. Whenever I get hold of this chipboard, I just save it. Some is thicker than other. I've got other chipboard over here that is maybe not quite as thick. Doesn't matter. I've got other that is, I would say, probably not quite thick enough. And so I'll cut them this, let's see, I want one right here. Like this, good chipboard, but I feel like it's a little bit thin. I'd like it a little bit bigger. And so I will cut two and glue them together and let those two together become one, which is pretty much like this chipboard here, which, speaking of, I'm going to use that one later. I should probably glue it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 by 6. That one's 6.5 by 6. That's why it looks so long. Okay, so how do you decide how big you need to cut these? If you want to be able to use standard 8.5 by 11 paper, then think of it this way. When you turn that on its side and put that in your book, then it's going to be 8.5 inches tall, correct? And your 11 is going to be folded in half to make the signature. And that 11 then becomes 5.5 inch width of a page. Everybody follow me so far?
Yep.
I know it's not heavy duty math, but just make sure you follow me. I could grab a piece of paper, but I needed to get that cut there. Okay, so here's an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. If I want to be able to use this as my signature and use ones that I've gel printed or coffee dyed or whatever it is, when I fold that in half to be a signature, my signature is now 8.5 tall and 5.5 wide. I want my cover to be about 1/4 of an inch larger all the way around. So if it's 8.5 tall, I need my cover to be 9. And if it's 5.5 wide, I need my cover to be 6. Everybody follow that? I don't want to leave anybody behind. I want y'all to leave here tonight knowing that you can make or are making with us. Who is making with us, by the way? Anybody making with us? Sounds like some people I work with, some are thicker than others. Okay, when you are cutting Glynis, it's cutting out my microphone. So I know you only have to cut a bit to get it ready, but while you're cutting, if you'll just mute yourself, or can you see it, or is it turned upside down where you can't see it?
It's upside down.
Okay, then I can mute you.
This will be my last cut. 1, 2, 3. I'm done.
Got it. I knew that you had to be pretty darn close. Okay, so if I know that on this one, I'm going to make these kind of what I call standard size for me, which is using 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper, because I use that a lot when I gel print, coffee dye, all those kinds of things. So now I've made 2 chipboard pieces that are both 8.5 by 6. I'm sorry, 9 by 6. The half inch bigger, 9 by 6. So I've got 2, a front and a back, that are 9 by 6. And then you need a spine. Now, the spine is the place where you have to decide how wide it's going to be. And it kind of depends on how many signatures you like to put in and how much stuff you like to stuff in there. And sometimes people like to stuff it in there and have it still closed straight. And sometimes people stuff it in there and they're okay with a gator mouth. They like it being, big, wide open. So, not making along. Who's making along? Julie, are you making along? Kathy's observing. Okay. Cheryl's making. Okay. There's math involved. Nope. I'll tell you the math. I just wanted to tell you how I got there in case you want to do it by yourself. Let's see. So a couple of you are. Mary will make one later. Okay. Good. So observing. Okay. Along with Julie. Okay. Yeah, you guys can all make one later. That would be great. Okay. So here, kind of a rule of thumb. And I'm going to say this loosely because after you make a couple and put signatures in them, you're going to get a feel for your style. Because again, everybody's different. How much you like to put in them. Some people like them to close completely. Others like them wide open, with the embellishments just bursting at the seams. But you can kind of count about 3/4 of an inch per signature. So if you want to make it a 3 signature journal, which is a good average size, 2¼ inches is a good spine. Does that make sense? So if you just kind of think about 3/4 of an inch per signature. Now, if you know that you like to overstuff them and no matter how much you plan, they always get way wide and you want to allow extra space, go 1 inch per signature. And I always kind of plan for 3 signatures because even if I think I'm going to make 2, I always end up with 3. Unless I've specifically planned to do more than that. But I seem to always end up with 3 signatures because I'll have all this stuff that I didn't get into 2 and there just has to be one more. So 2¼ to 2.5 is a really good width for a signature. Okay. So there is actually our book bones right there. Hi, Trudy. Phone shows only half of us having hit the like button. Well, thank you for reminding me because I always forget to ask, but I do really appreciate all the thumbs up. It does help us and at least lets me know that you care, that you're here, and that you like doing this. I'd like to know that you like it with me because I really enjoy doing this with you guys. Okay, so now we need to. That you guys are going to be blown away with how easy this is. You're like, we could sit here tonight and make about 10 of these. It's really not that difficult. Okay, I do have a question though, and this is a serious question. For all of you who have never put a journal together to this point, you've probably made parts and pieces of everything, but just not put a full journal together. Why haven't you? It's always some kind of fear. Fear of I don't know how to do this or I won't do that right and then I'll waste, the supplies or whatever it is. What is it? Is it the journal? Is it the binding? What is it or all of the above? What is that thing? I'm super curious because these are the things that help me know what we want to spend more time on. But what is it that has kept you to this point from making a journal, putting a full journal together? And I know that it took me a while to do it, and I know what, what it was for me. And I just finally just went and started watching videos until I'd watched so many. I thought, I just need to do this because so far behind on videos, need to catch up. Okay, make some stuff. Book fear. Fear of ruining stuff. Do 3 situations, 15 pages. Okay, so Trudy, fear of ruining stuff. When what? In making the signatures, in making the book cover? What is it you're afraid of ruining? What is it that you think you won't do right? Is it the cover? Okay, so here's the fabric that we're going to use for this cover. And here is our book bones. So they're going to go on the other side, of course. But I'm going to hopefully help keep you from making this mistake that most of us make once and then never again. The mistake is, look at your fabric and see if it is directional fabric or not. If it's not, it doesn't matter. And so you're always safer picking a non-directional fabric. If it is directional, like the birds standing on their feet with their heads up, I wouldn't want them upside down on my book. So you really want to make sure you have the fabric turned the right way. I think everybody that's made a lot of journals has, cut the fabric, got all ready to go, glued it on, got the book in place, and went, oh no, the fabric's upside down. It's horrible. Spine always rips. Okay, Mary, is that making them out of paper and then the spine rips because it is paper? Fear of ruining everything. Fear of failure, just have to jump in. Mine was the sewing part. Okay, you don't even have to sew, Suze. What we're doing tonight, you do not have to sew. I'll tell you what, I bought kit from 49. Okay, no, you don't need a kit. You don't have to spend money on a kit. You've all got fabric scraps around. I'm sure you do. A fat quarter is usually enough to make 2 journal covers. And you can even just do it out of paper. And if you want to practice, take some of the ugly paper, the stuff that you're not using because it is ugly, and tell yourself, if I ruin this, it's okay because I don't like it anyway. So if I end up throwing it away or covering it with something else, it doesn't matter because I wasn't going to use it anyway. It's just going to sit there for another 5 years. So I'm going to make sure that my fabric is going the correct way. And I also want to look at the fabric and say, what do I want on the cover of the fabric? Because if I just turn it over and glue it on there, I might just have, something random or half of something. But if I look at it this way and I say, okay, if this is the front of my journal, where do I want it to sit? What do I want to see? Do I want this to be right in the middle? Do I want the compass to be right in the middle? What about this cool lighthouse over here? Do I want a heron right in the middle? What about this, where there's a heron and a flamingo and this? What do I want right in the middle of that journal? That's going to make a difference. So if I went right here, of course, I kind of like that lighthouse, but it might end up on the back cover, and that's okay too. If I go right here, let me push this up, make sure that you can see. And if you have non-directional fabric that's just a print, then this doesn't really matter. So you can save yourself some heartache and just get a print fabric that you like. Okay, so if I lift that up, you can see what we're going to get if I put it right here. But it looks like we're either going to get all of the flamingo's beak, or a little bit of it's going to go on the spine, or we're going to get all of the blue heron's beak, or some of it's going to be wrapped inside. I don't really want his beak wrapped inside. So if that was over here, then the flamingo's head's going to go around the spine, but it's still right there, where this one would be hidden inside. Does that make sense? Okay, so I kind of like that. Does anybody see a spot that you like just a ton more that would be there? I mean, it's all good. It's this whole fabric is very cool. I like having a large flamingo and a large heron on the front though. And that might be the only place where they're both large. So, okay, I'm just going to make that decision. I got enough here to do a couple of these. And you'll say, yeah, but you're going to end up cutting 2 or 3 inches over here. That's just going to waste. Maybe you should go closer to the edge. Well, yes and no. Yes, I'm going to end up cutting just 2 or 3 inches off there, making sure that I have that pretty straight. However, one of the things that's on my list to do with you coming up sometime this year is show you how to take the fabric scraps that you cut off of your cover fabric and turn those into embellishments that will go throughout your journal that will tie the whole thing together. Let's see, I saw something from Sylvia. Where was that? After a year of making one journal a month, my fear was making the covers wonky or crooked, short or long. I realized that I can make mistakes as long as I learn from the mistakes. Yeah, absolutely. You know, every time we do something, we either win or we learn. That's it. It's pouring rain. Nice. Okay, so here's another thing. Julie, we need to support the spine with the Tyvek, I think. I say this, but I've never remembered to do it. Okay, and Mary, that's why I ask you, are you putting paper on the spine and the paper is tearing? Because there are several different things to do with the spine to help make it strong. And so I wanted to know what it was that's tearing, because we are going to address that, especially when we do the paper. Another thing, Sylvia, is that the thing with journals is that I won't say always, because it's never always or never, you know, but the majority of the time we might think something is wonky or out of whack, and either one, it's so minute that nobody else would notice it. We just notice it because we know it. Or two, it's something that we can fix, i.e. cover up, embellish, you know, do something with it. Maybe we hadn't planned to do it, but that's one of those happy accidents that often turns into some very cool, you know, design or embellishment that we hadn't intended. Are you going to use one big piece of fabric for front spine and back, or cutting fabric per piece? Okay, we'll get there in just 1 second. Don't have Tyvek, but do have ram board, seam tape. Okay, my eyes are pouring water. Time for allergy meds. Yeah, use fabric scraps to reinforce your spine. That's a good idea too. Yes, tears around the holes, especially paper tears, paint split. Okay, so this is where I want to put my front cover, and I'm going to pull it over here, leaving that in place. I need to make enough room. I'm trying to make sure you can see the whole thing as I do it. Tried to have everything close by so I won't have to try to get up and get things, because then I forget that I'm gimpy. If I just sit here with you, I forget I'm gimpy because I'm not having to get up and use those limbs. That makes me happy. Okay, and then our spine. Now, when you put the spine here, we're not going to put the spine right next to the front cover because it needs room to bend. And if you glue it down like this, there's no room for it to bend. Even that fabric will end up tearing. So we're going to give it 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And trust me, you'll want it. Especially the thicker your chipboard is. If it's a very thin chipboard, like Glynis was using, a cracker box, I think?
Yep.
Which is perfect. Cracker box, a cereal box, and I wanted to go back there because I wanted to look at your fabric. That's gorgeous. Is that a napkin? A linen napkin?
Yeah, the problem is it's a little bit sheer, so after I've glued it on later, I'm going to come back and put lace around the edges.
Okay. So y'all can see that napkin that Glynis has. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love that. If I have something,
it's actually curtain, kitchen curtain.
Oh wow. Okay. And that would be so beautiful on the front and the back of the journal. When I have something sheer like that that you can see through, what I will typically do is cover the journal like I'm going to do right now, but with just a plain cream colored, you know, just off-white, neutral colored fabric. And then glue it down really good, and then go back and cover it with that one, because that neutral just takes up, so when you don't see through it and see this chipboard, you don't see that dark behind it, it doesn't make a shadow. That neutral blends in and becomes part of the fabric of her base. So if she's already put that on her cover and she now sees it's a little bit sheer, then she already knows she can take care of that by going around and putting some lace on it. So even if you do that, see, you're not ruining it. There's always a way to fix it. We'll do twice the thickness of your chipboard. Let's see here. Okay,
now I'm doubling up the chipboard for my spine.
So yes, so Glynis is using a cracker box, and she's leaving it as it is for the front and back cover, but she's doubling it up for the spine to give the spine extra strength, because that's where the majority of the stress comes on the book. And that's exactly what I would do, Glynis. And if you want the covers to be thicker, you can double up the chipboard there. You can also put a layer of fabric under, like I said, or you can put a very thin layer of batting under there, give it some cushion. All depends on what look you want on the outside of that cover. Okay, so here is exactly, let's see what we end up with over here. Oh, nice. We're going to get the compass and a full flamingo and a full heron and the little guy over here on this one. Okay, so this is exactly what I want for my cover, only I need the chipboard on the other side, right? So, but I need to know this because I need to know exactly where I'm going to cut my fabric, because this is a huge piece of fabric. I got to get this cutter out of my way here. Let's see. Turn it around. There we go. Okay, but I like to do it on the pattern side so that I can see exactly what is going to show up on my covers. So let's see, where's my, I will take, I think I'm going to use the pen so that you can see it, but these are just fabric marking pencils. There's a silver and a yellow, and this is a fabric marking pen, and it's disappearing ink. Let's see if that'll focus. Disappearing ink. So if I mark on my fabric with this, within 2 days it'll disappear. That's what disappearing ink is. And so I'm going to use that pen, so hopefully you can see it on camera. All right, and I know it's going to be a little awkward not being able to pull my left arm out there, but I'm going to just do my best, and it'll also prove another point. What I want is an inch or so all the way around it to be able to wrap to the inside. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to say that's about an inch. That's a good inch. That's a good inch plus. And if I go over here, there's a good inch plus. And if I bring them up and bring them to meet right here, can you see this purple pen marking? And notice how I'm really not worrying about being exact and perfect. Doesn't matter. You'll see why. Okay, and I'm going to go about an inch up here. There we go. We'll continue about an inch over here. And I'm going to go to this corner. Find about an inch. I think this is a healthy inch. I'd always rather have a little too much than a little too little. I can always add, you can always add salt, but you can't take it out. It's the same thing. You can always cut some fabric off, but you can't put it back. Okay. And there's about an inch down here and here and all the way down. There's a healthy inch on the bottom, so I'm just going to leave that as is. I'm going to bring this. I mean, these aren't even straight lines. I'm just making general marks, but it's okay. Doesn't matter. All right, so there's my cutting mark. So now I'm going to move these. And I'm going to see if I can stand and do this with one hand. My computer doesn't move there. Okay. All right. So where are my marks? Where are my marks? Is it disappearing already? Oh, here it is. Here it is, right there. I didn't do it super dark, but it's a little weird not being able to get directly over the top of it, so can't see straight down. That's the most awkward part. But again, it'll prove another point that it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. Doesn't even matter. Let's not cut that blue paper underneath it, because we're going to need that for the book or the end paper. Okay, so we'll go this one. Okay. Sorry if I bumped the camera, trying not to, but I realize I might as I'm trying to get this. Yeah, and typically a fat quarter will get you two journals, 2 books, depending on the size. If they're smaller books, you might get 3 or 4. If they're larger books, you might only get 1 and then have a bunch of fabric left for embellishments or mini journals. These are super, fabric is super fun to use for teeny tiny journals too. Okay, so that we're done with for now. And there's our journal cover. All right. So now I turn it on the inside, or inside, upside down, inside out, not upside down. This is really easy to see through, so I can see that they are upright. But you can't always see through the fabric. It's not always that embedded with pigment. And if you can't, I would really recommend that you double check yourself just by turning it over, making sure your birds are upright, so you don't, like you said, ruin that piece of fabric that you love. And I'm not going to worry about ironing that. Could have ironed it. Maybe could have looked at putting the front and the back right where those creases were. That might have been better. Now where did I sit? Here. Okay. So I can see enough through this too to put these right where I wanted, making sure I get his bill over there. That's going to be the front. Right, when this is covered, there's the front of the book. Okay, so at this point it's backwards, it's reversed, so I know that this is the front, so I want to make sure I get the birds in line and right where I wanted them. Okay, I've got enough space around. And then the spine, I'm going to give it 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch. And then the other one, same back here. Okay, so there's the cover. So now all I need to do is glue these down right here, right where they are. I know that I'm saying a lot of things and only doing a couple of steps, and I really hope that you guys see how simple that is, that even though there's a lot of talk involved, really all we did was cut out a square of fabric after we laid these down to see what we wanted on our covers. It's really so easy. Okay, I think I'm going to use a Fabri-Tac on this. Let's see if I can just get it to squirt out in big amounts, and then I'm going to take a silicone brush and just kind of spread it around so it's not really in lines but more spread. I added a little bit of acetone to this, but there wasn't very much room in the bottle, so as I use it up I'll be able to add some more acetone. Okay, and when I spread it, I want to make sure I get it all the way to the edge. But once it's on, I can always go back and just put a little bit underneath the edge of that fabric, the edges, the corners, that kind of thing. So I don't worry too much about those either. Okay, let's see. Sorry for the arm, but it's the only one that reaches. Okay, let's spread this around. I'm going to put it on top of that because if I get some adhesive on the other chipboard, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to go all the way to the edge there. Hey, Glennis, I can't really see comments. Can you take a quick second and scroll back and see what I've missed? Guys, what I forgot to mention was if you have a question, if you'll put 4 question marks and then type your question in capital letters, it really makes it stand out a whole lot easier. And we are able to star or mark those comments, those questions. So even if I don't answer them until I get through something and then come back and answer the questions, I can mark them so then I can just, it'll create a separate list for me of just those question comments. And then I can come back and just answer those if we haven't already. So, okay.
As
So
soon
now,
as I have my glue spread, I'm in the middle, I will go and read comments.
okay. Oh, perfect. You're right.
I like the Eileen product family, so I'm using Fabric Fusion.
Okay. Oh, you know what? I have some of that too. And if it's not exactly where you want it, just pick it up again. It's the beauty of something like Fabric Fusion, Fabri-Tac that lets you move it around a bit. It's not adhering the second you put it down. Oh, that just a little.
Fabric Fusion actually takes quite a while to dry.
Does it? Okay.
Yep.
And that's okay because we're just doing covers. And you know, I always have a bunch of collection boxes. I use those iris boxes you probably saw in one of those Tuesday's tips that a lot of us do to collect items for journals. So I'll collect a fat quarter of fabric and throw it in there along with all the things to embellish it. And so I can sit down and make covers. I can make this one. And if you're using that Fabric Fusion, you can set it aside to dry and then you can make another one. And you can make all your covers at one time and then go back and work on, you can make all the signatures at the same time if you use the same base types of papers. And maybe you do, maybe you don't. Ooh, I didn't even think about that going sticky through there. Let me grab a baby wipe.
Trudy wants to know, is that tool a Nouveau brush?
It is not. It is it's a silicone makeup brush, and Miss Candy Boyer introduced me to him. I was not familiar with him, and I love it. Love it, love it, love it for spreading glue, whether decoupaging on the napkins or spreading glue on a large thing like this on a cover.
Lucy says she usually uses PVA glue or a combo of PVA and wheat starch.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
That's different.
If you guys are interested, I will, I got these on Amazon. Actually just got them the other day and it was a pack of 6. I want to say it was under $5. I mean, seriously cheap. If you want, I will grab an affiliate link and put it in the description box as soon as we're done. And so you can pop back in to the description box and grab that link if you want.
Gigi says, I only glue the spine and the wraparound fabric. Amazing how we do things so differently.
Only glue the spine and the wraparound fabric. Isn't that what we are doing? Or she's saying she puts the spine
I think she means the fabric that wraps underneath.
Oh, the inside?
I would think that's what she means.
Gigi, do you mean you do the inside of the book and not the outside? I'm going to grab a piece of, what do I want? Acetate maybe to put underneath that. I didn't even think about, because this is it's just a cotton. I mean, you can literally use any fabric you want for covers. Upholstery fabric, drapery fabric, just a lightweight cotton, anything you like works. But I didn't think about that being thin enough that it could would go through to the mat. So let me see if I think I've got a couple pieces of acetate here that are large enough. Hopefully it won't glue to the acetate. Is acetate the right thing to be using? Anybody have a better suggestion? If you do, tell me now before I glue it to the acetate.
Gigi says she got her silicone makeup brushes at the Dollar Tree.
I haven't even seen them there. That's awesome. Okay, guys, check Dollar Tree. Yeah, I was.
Laura gave me mine, so I didn't have to buy them.
I think this was a pack of 6. It was 2 pink, 2 blue, 2 yellow, and I want to say it was like $4.89, of course, plus tax. So $5 for 6. I was pretty happy with that. But if you don't need 6 of them, well, they did have packs that were smaller, but I don't know that they were as cheap. This was about the cheapest we could find. But Dollar Tree is great if they have them. Are they still $1? See, that's what I don't like is now when we go to the Dollar Tree, we have to look at everything we're buying and saying, is it still $1 or is this one of the things that's gone up? Because not everything at Dollar Tree is still $1 anymore. Could be $1.25, could be $1.50. Some things will still be a great buy and some things may not. Okay, so this is probably the boring part while I'm gluing my spine down. Or not my spine, my whole book cover down. Boring for you guys. But then, okay, once I've got the one, it's easy to line the other 2 up off of the one. Just make sure, sometimes I push it down hard and it goes sliding. Oops. Forgot to put that other piece of acetate over here. Don't even know if it's wide enough. We'll find out. May just have to clean it up a bit when we're done. Okay, the glass mat probably would be good for this because I didn't think about it going through, but I don't like the glass mat so much for lives because the light reflects off of it. It's hard to justify buying a Tim Holtz that has the non-reflective surface, even though I would love it because I have a glass mat and I have, you know, all these self-healing ones. It's more of a want than a need. So I thought I would just pull up one of these self-healing ones that doesn't reflect. Be easier to see. All right, just trying to get this Fabri-Tac out all over the place here. It holds really well. I think a tacky glue would be fine. A tacky glue is a PVA. Any other PVA glue would be fine. I probably wouldn't use, you know, a paper-to-paper glue like a Barely Art or Art Glitter glue. Save those for your paper.
If I'm doing something heavy like upholstery fabric, I like to use my hot glue gun.
Ah, good point. Very good point. Yeah, upholstery fabric, I would use either hot glue or definitely like a Fabri-Tac or Fabric Fusion even, but your hot glue probably even holds better than the Fabric Fusion, huh?
The problem is that you have to get it down fast or else you'll get lumps.
That's true. That is true. You can't do this and then take time to spread it all out. It doesn't work with
Oh, no, not with hot
really
glue.
work with hot glue. It's not very friendly. Okay, so we put our back spine on. We're moving right along. The other thing is you put it down, you want to make sure that your fabric is pulled taut. So you don't want to end up with a big wrinkle on the other side. I cannot see the other side, so I have to assume that I did that. I think I did it on the front cover. I sure hope that I did. Sometimes you start talking, telling what you're doing, and you forget to do a step just because you're so busy remembering to tell the steps. Weird how that happens. Okay, and that's not going to take very long to be able to work with it. I'm going to turn it over here. I want to make sure there's nothing sticky here, that it's going to stay. Now, I don't have this issue with paper, so I don't think I'll have this issue with cork either. Maybe I'll do the cork next because it's much thicker. Okay. But there's our book cover. Now, I don't want to really touch that because I can see that the glue has gone through. Now, that glue dries clear, so I'm not worried about it. I'm just going to let it dry. But I am going to press this down and, I don't see any wrinkles at all. But if there were, I still have time to pull them out or press them out before moving to the next step. And actually, we can move to the next step while this is drying. We don't have to wait for this to completely dry. I'll just put that. Okay, this is the front cover, and wow, yeah, almost dried. So that cover actually almost dried too. Spine is the wettest. I probably put the most glue on the spine. That's okay. So nothing's going to come off of there. Nothing's going to come off of there. Okay, so I'm just going to put this in the center so that it covers the spine when I turn it back over. All right, so now what we want to do is wrap this fabric around it tightly and glue it down. Okay, and then it'll be all ready for our end paper that we've chosen to go inside. See how easy it is? So whether you do this with fabric or whether you do this with paper, the process is the same. But then you may be saying, but I don't have paper that's that long to go all the way across. And you may not. And that's why there are options of how to do it with paper. And that's why we're doing the fabric first, because it will show you in simplified steps how to do it and just the simplified version. So you can then alter any way you want. Okay, so one of the biggest things that people have trouble with, I believe, from what I've been told as they're doing this, is these corners. If you put all this fabric in here, you end up with a big old gob of fabric and it's bulky. You put it in like this, you can wrap, well, that's even bulkier. What do? You need to miter those corners. How many of you just cringed when I said miter those corners? Be honest. I did for a long time. That's why they pay you the big bucks. Keep a secret decoder ring up. Yeah, nice. Hi, Lucy. Use Fabri-Tac, but only on small items. I don't think I would ever use it on something. But Lucy, what kind of glue or adhesive do you use? Maybe you already said and I didn't see. Margie, what kind do you use? Just a PVA? I'm trying to just catch up on a couple of the comments here. See, some people say they would never use hot glue. Other people say they would never use Fabri-Tac. You try them all and see what you like, see what works for you. I will say this too. Different glues are going to work differently in different climates. So if you hear everybody say, well, this glue is amazing, this works great, this blah, 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 and then you try it and you find it doesn't work that way, it's not you, and don't worry about it because different climates make glue act differently. So there may be something that you absolutely love that somebody else says, oh, that stuff didn't work at all for me. It comes apart. So, but like I said, a PVA glue will work. I had a huge bottle of PVA on sale and I just put it into one of these Sugar Bell bottles. That would work. If that's the case, I would probably just, this is tacky glue with a little bit of water in it. I'd probably just use that. The Fabri-Tac, I think, for me, dries a little bit quicker, so I use that rather than the tacky glue tonight. Let's see. If your paper isn't big enough, make a teeny tiny journal. Ta-da! Problem solved. You got it. Awesome solution. PVA mixed with a wheat starch. Okay, never mixed it with a wheat starch, Lucy, but I can totally understand that. Like to back the fabric before gluing onto the book board. Okay, so we talked about that, putting a layer of neutral fabric underneath it, or Sometimes people like to just cut out something this size or just maybe slightly larger and put it between the fabric and the book board. It all depends on how thin it is, how much you can see through it. Now, if I had really put this up to the book board and looked at it, maybe put it up to the light, I would have put a neutral underneath this. Now that I'm looking at it, I mean, the glue has to dry and it's going to dry clear, but it's just, it feels kind of thin to me because it's just a cotton. And I probably would have put something underneath it just to give it a little more substance of fabric. There will be some embellishment on it, so I don't think I don't see a problem seeing through it. The dark I see is the glue that's not dry yet. Where it is dry, I don't see through it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. I mean, worst case, I've got some more fabric. I can line it up exactly and put it over the top of it, right? There's always a way to fix it. Yeah, Diane, what glue do you use? Let's see. Cheryl's using tacky glue, but would rather use tape for the cover. Okay, so Cheryl, do you use a tape runner for fabric or just paper? Hi, Lois. I am not familiar with Yes Paste. What is Yes Paste? I assume that's the brand. Okay, I've been stalling for a minute, just giving it a minute to dry a little bit more. But I didn't see anybody answer my question of when I said we got to miter the corners, did that make you cringe?
When I miter corners, they never turn out. The Ivy corner looks different.
Okay, so that is how I always felt. And as soon as I came to that point, that's when I got that feeling that you all described before of, I'm afraid I'll ruin everything. I could get to this point and then I go, but as soon as I cut it, I've cut it. And if I cut it too tight, I can't go back. And now what do I do? You know, I've ruined it. And so I just didn't even start because I was afraid of the mitered corner. So I have 3 solutions for you. One is there's a little tool here that is a corner miterer. Colorwayarts.com is where that came from, I suppose. I've had this for so many years that I don't remember getting it from there, but I'm sure that they still have them. I don't think that they're super cheap last time I looked, but you put this on your corner, and where is our color marking pen? Here, I put it in there. Okay, you put this on the corner. I have to bring the corner over where I can reach it with my left hand. Okay, put this on the corner and draw a line, draw a mark. I'm going to try to make it dark enough that you can see. It tells you exactly where to miter it. Okay, if I was doing it on paper, I would just take a blade. I didn't even think about grabbing my rotary tool. I could just cut that right off. Okay, but you can see that purple mark? That tells me exactly where to miter it to get just the right amount of fabric to cover it, not have a big old bulky, and not have the corner of my cardboard or chipboard sticking out. That was my problem. That's what I always had. Let me share with you a trick that Miss Debbie Royer taught me. And that is this. Where did I set it? Okay. She taught me, Debbie used to teach a lot of classes. And she taught me that if you don't have that corner, then you can take 2 of your leftover pieces of chipboard and glue them together. Now, I grabbed 2 little pieces from all the ones that I cut, and one of them is fairly thick and one of them is really thin. But I put them together, okay? And just out of curiosity, it ends up being almost exactly, of course, the end is kind of coming apart there. The corners are frayed. Yeah, it's exactly the same thickness as this is. So that's perfect. Now, another trick that she taught me is when you glue the 2 together, leave one of them longer than the other. And I left, if they were the same width, I would leave the fat one, the thicker one, longer than the other. And what you do with this, is go to the corner and you stand this on the corner. So see, it's giving me the same angle as that tool did. And I'm using the side that's flat where they're both the same length, not that one. So I'm going to stand it on the corner. And then I could take my cutting pen or rotary tool or my pen marker here. Then I'm going to mark. It was a little awkward holding with my left hand, but there's my mark. Okay, so I want you to look at this one from the tool. Look how far it is away from the point. And look at this one. So that will work. Now the whole point of having one offset so that they're not the same distances, you can use this as your tool over and over again. And sometimes you might have a thinner chipboard. For instance, Glynis is using a cracker box. So she doesn't need it to be as thick. She doesn't need the same amount of distance as this thick chipboard. So you don't need both of them. You'd only need one. So if I set down the one right there, I don't know if you can see. I probably can. See, there's the purple mark. If I stand this up straight, you see the distance between the purple mark and where the chipboard is right now? It would give me a line there instead, because it could be a little bit closer because she doesn't need as much fabric to go over the cracker box as the thick chipboard. So there's the second way that you can do it without even having to go buy a tool, for sure. The third way just escaped my mind. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm going to come over here and use the tool because the third trick just escaped my mind. Oh my. Glynis, how's your cover coming along? I'm going to go back.
You don't want to know.
No? Uh-oh. What happened?
No, I'm doing my pieces individually, which is the way I usually do them.
Okay.
And I'm having all sorts of trouble, and I've got glue all over, and it's a real mess, and I'm so glad you're not showing it.
Don't tell her I just had her on, and I just put it back here, okay? Don't tell Glynis that. Nobody tell her. Okay. So
nope, nobody tell her.
So what Glynis is saying is that she typically takes her front cover and her back cover piece, the bones, and she covers each one individually. And then she puts her book together later with something. She probably you cover the spine as well, but then later when you put it together, you using something else to hold it together around the spine.
I use Tyvek, and then I usually put lace or trim on top of it.
Okay, so then if you're using fabric, you don't put fabric on the spine. You're only doing the front and back cover.
No, I do fabric on the spine, but then I do
Tyvek over it.
Then I put the Tyvek on the inside and the trim on the outside.
Okay, got it. Okay, all right. I'm gonna go. Oh boy, now that's just bugging me. What was my third? It's something that I've done that I used to do before I had the tool. Before I just recently learned that other trick from Debbie. I can't think what it was. Let's see. Margie had some yes glue a long time ago. Got all hardened container before I could use it. Glynis, Margie is not laughing at you. I love it.
Oh, thank you, Margie. I am so glad. Thank you.
Oh, and Julie says, Glynis, you won't be the only one, so don't worry. I will say it is a little tougher for Glynis. I mean, she's trying to do this on a not so stable surface, which is her bed. And I don't know what glue are you using? Are you using hot glue?
The Fabric Fusion.
Fabric Fusion, that's right.
The thing that's causing me the most trouble is this silly camera.
Oh, is it in your way because it's bigger than before?
Yeah, I have to lean around it.
Yep. Yeah, that's like when I'm standing up to cut the fabric and I can't get over the top of it because the camera's there and doing it from the side. Yeah. It is awkward, isn't it?
That's what's causing me the most trouble.
I don't have you on right now, and I'll tell you when I do. How's that? And so if you need to pull it out of the camera and leave the camera there, But if you need to pull your project off the table and closer to you, or the table closer to you, go ahead and do that.
Okay. It will be nice not to worry about all this silly shaking I'm doing.
It is awkward. It's a whole lot easier to do when you can put directly on top of it. Okay, if you miter too short, but that's it. Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Debbie. Woo! I knew somebody would. I was just going to say, somebody out there knows what the third trick is, and Debbie got it. Okay, so here's the thing. I've got these corners. Now, this is the awkward part for me, is trying to get where my left hand can hold it and my right hand can cut it. I'm going to just cut this corner on that miter, hopefully on that miter. Okay, here's another trick Miss Debbie taught me. Let's say you cut that corner, you miter that corner, and you're like, all right, I got that corner mitered. And then you go pull this in, and then you go pull this in. Well, it's mitered perfectly because I used the tool. But what if it wasn't? What if I got in there and I had this little bit of chipboard showing? I do not want that showing, and my blue paper is not going all the way to the edge. It's going to go, you know, you're going to see a little bit of the fabric around it. That's a nice trim. And then you're going to have that little chipboard. Or here's what would happen to me. Here's what would happen to me, and this is why I had the fear, is I would cut the miter, and then I would bring the fabric, and it would be just a little shy, and the point would be sticking out like that. And you would just see the point of the chipboard. And I just couldn't seem to get it right. Okay, so here's her trick. Thank goodness for smart people. This works whether it's paper or fabric. You've cut off that mitered corner, take that mitered corner and glue it down right there. Turn it upside down so you're seeing the pattern part. Guys, do not forget this trick. This is the thing that should make you not worry about doing it, because there's always a way to fix it. Don't worry, you're not going to ruin anything. There's always a way to fix it. And if you're not sure, just set it aside and contact us. And if we don't know, we'll start asking around the group. Somebody will know. So turn this little corner right side up and glue it right up to the very, very corner so it covers all of that chipboard. It's the same fabric. And then when you pull this up and glue it down, only got one hand that'll reach up there, the same fabric is underneath it. You're not going to see any chipboard. Is that not brilliant? Julie,
it's brilliant.
That bot, please. Yeah, I think that's brilliant. Baking cover sounds dangerous. It's not dangerous. What? Whose glue bottle exploded? Cheryl, your glue bottle exploded on you. Oh no. Margie loves you. Diane, you would rather eat yes paste than cilantro? You crack me up. Okay, so that's a brilliant trick. That really is a brilliant trick. And so as far as I'm concerned, there's no excuse for anybody saying I can't make a journal cover, because I've just shown you the easiest way. We're not done yet, but the easiest way on earth to make a journal cover, and how to take care of the most common mistakes. If that happens, you just reuse that corner. Now, I cut that off, but look at that cute little heron head. Don't throw that away, because there are so many things you can do with fabric scraps that you could put throughout this journal and tie it all in. So, and we'll get to some of those, obviously not tonight, but they are on our list. Okay, I've got to pull this over closer to me so I can hold it. I'm going to miter the other corners here real quick. How is it going, Glynis?
La, 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 la.
I do not hear you, she says. Okay, so once I've got my four corners mitered, then I'm ready.
I think Debbie or Julie are going to have to help, because I am making it such a heck of a mess here. It's unbelievable.
Well, you know, one of us always has to show what not to do. And usually that's me. And I give Margie lots of, material for comedy. And it's just kind of nice sometimes when it's not me, Glenn. So thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, I love being a comedy. Oh, wow.
Oh, Suzanne has a corner miter tool made of plexiglass or lucite. That's awesome. This one's metal. It's pretty heavy, but yeah, if you get hold of one of those are awesome. Help! What, Julie? What? Oh, you just scared the heck out of Julie. There's many ways to make covers as
Julie,
there
I
are.
volunteered you to make a cover online.
Margie's right there, and that's why I said right up front, there are so many ways to make covers. There just are, and all I'm showing you is a basic, simple way. Especially if you've never made a cover, I really want you to flip out a couple of these. Just knock them out. They're super easy. Make them, do them, so you know that you've done them. Get that fear out of the way, because once you do them, I tell you, that fear goes away immediately. You're like, oh, no big deal, I can do this. And then you want to start trying some of the other ways too, and then you might find that one way is easier for you, or one way you like better than others, and that might be your go-to way. For me, it's kind of depending on what type of journal or book I'm making as to how I cover it or what kind of cover I do. I will do we'll talk through some of the things when we're doing some of the others. All right, I want to put a piece of acetate underneath these as I glue. Oh, Candy's here! Yay, Candy! Now you need to play catch up. Yes, you do, Candy. Although we're going fairly slowly. We've cut our 9x6 bones of our journal, and that's just if you want to be able to use 8.5 by 11 paper. And a spine, I typically go 3/4 of an inch per signature. I have typically 3 signatures. That's just kind of an average. And so it's okay with me that these are kind of my standard size. Sometimes I'll go bigger or smaller if I have something very specific in mind for somebody. All right, so when I glue these in, this is just personal preference. I like to glue the sides in first and then the top and the bottom down. You may do either way you want, although to make it look nice and uniform, I would recommend that you either glue both sides or the top and bottom first. If you
You can
glue,
give me a quick look.
okay, if you glue one side and then you glue the top, that one may be on top, and then you come to this side, that may be on top. And when you look at it, you'll have one side that's on top and one side that's underneath. So let's see. Let me get over here to Glennis. Ooh, okay, hang on. I'm making you big. I love that. That's gorgeous. Gorgeous, darling. Now see how she's put the clips around hers to hold it on, because that glue takes a while to dry. Man, I love that. Those drapes, the black and white and red.
I have not had this much trouble since my very first journal cover.
Really?
Really.
So see, guys, Glennis has made dozens of journals, and it can happen to anybody. Sometimes it's the type of fabric. The fabric is more slippery, or it takes longer to adhere, or it's just weird to use. Sometimes it's just, who knows what? The weather? I don't know. You just never know. But it's not a big deal. Just don't let anything be a big deal to you. Just know that it's not a big deal. If it's wonky, I can fix it. If I'm not sure how to fix it, I'll ask in the group, because somebody will. Trust me, whatever you've done, somebody else has already done it before you.
Yes, Margie, I'll blame it on Marianne somehow.
Yeah, that's okay.
You can see on the top and bottom of my cover where it's a little bit see-through. So that's where I'm going to put a red or a black trim, probably black.
Okay. Oh man, that's going to be so pretty. Now, do you think that once the glue dries, it will still be as see-through? It might not, because the
I am
glue
not. I
makes
can't
it.
remember. So
Yeah,
I
the
haven't done
glue.
fabric for a while,
Okay.
for like a couple months
And
probably.
some fabrics are much more see-through than others, and some, are nice and thick. So
I
I'm.
bought this fabric at a thrift store about 3 years ago, and I've been
Oh,
wanting to use it.
I love it.
So I was going to use it no matter what.
Oh, good for you. I love the stark contrast of everything with black. The black and white, the black and white and red, the black and white and fuchsia, the black and white and turquoise. Those are just
This
my.
the part that's the spine is actually the bottom half of the curtain is all done like that, and the top half is this pattern.
That's cool. So you've got more of that bottom part of the curtain that you can use then throughout.
Oh yeah.
That's very cool. Ooh, maybe even for a short closure.
And I can do fabric flips. I've got lots.
Oh, neat. Okay, so I want you guys to see.
But now you can take me off because I've got to move this. I've got to go get my Tyvek tape.
Okay. Okay, so hi, Laura. Laura's here, and she says, "Great job, Mom." Yeah.
Oh, thank you, sweetie.
Time.
You might get this in your birthday present.
Laura, does Glynis not send you out the reminder? Of course, it's not like.
Oh, yes, she got it.
It's hours before, so yes, it's up to you, Laura, to keep track of time. Okay, here's where I want you to see why I said that it doesn't really matter if you cut it straight as you're cutting out your cover. Look over here. This side is wider than this side. Does it matter? No. I could cut it off, trim it. Nah, I probably won't even bother because when I put it under here, it's all going to be underneath the paper. So it really doesn't, it doesn't even matter. There's so many things that don't matter that we get so uptight about. Okay. So did anybody watch Tim Holtz today as he was introducing the new alcohol inks?
I'm going to.
Alcohol pearls and a new alloy. Julie can try the freezer paper, but typically is not meant to be left on the fabric. Usually there's a stabilizer until you're finished sewing. Yeah, did anybody watch Tim introduce the new alcohol pearls and the new alloy rose? Because I'm going to tell you something that Tim said today. And if you watched, you heard it. First, I want to know if anybody else was there. Margie's so over Timmy. I watched because I wanted to see what the new alcohol ink colors or alcohol pearls colors were. And, you know, if he said people say all the time that they don't like the pearls. And it's because they're using them how they're not meant to be used and they don't work that way. And I will tell you that is absolutely true. People tell me that they don't like the pearls. And it's always because they are using them in the way that they are not intended to be used. And so they don't react the right way. Alloys, mixatives, and pearls they all react very differently and have different chemical makeups. So, okay. So one thing that he said today that I absolutely loved, I took it to heart. A lot of us, I'll always say us because, you know, there's always a bunch of us included. Never know how many of us or who of us or whatever, but never going to call any of us out. A lot of us try to get over those fears, the fears of making the journal because you're afraid that you'll, you know, ruin something or mess something up or, you know, whatever it is. Those fears. Do you know what Tim said today? The things people make are cool, or sometimes, but not regularly. I rarely watch Tim stupid stuff and not enough money. Yeah, yeah. I just wanted to know what those new alcohol colors were. But he said today, he said, you know, if you have, he said, if you are afraid of using, it's just fears. It's fears in your head. He said, I know that because I was there too. And I'll tell you what somebody told me. This is Tim talking. What somebody told me, that they said that that those fears of whether it's making the mistake or doing it wrong or ruining something or whatever, those fears are all fears about you, you know, about me. He says, him talking about himself, they're about me. And somebody told me, just get over yourself. And he said, and that's true. And I will say to you, just get over yourself. It's all worried about, oh no, am I going to do it wrong? Am I going to look bad or waste something or whatever? No, there's always a way to fix it. It's not about you. And just get over yourself and do it. And it might sound a little harsh, but I really thought about what he said. And I thought that is so true because everybody else around would tell us, just do it. And most of the time when we think something's weird and wonky, somebody else points out all the cool things about it. We're way more harsh critics on ourselves than we are on other people. And it's probably a little bit of pride or ego that makes us, you know, do that. And maybe we think we shouldn't be okay or proud or happy with what we made. And, so what if we ruin a piece of paper? It's only paper. Are any of us hurting for a piece of paper? I seriously doubt it. If you really are, call me. I'll send you some. I'm serious. I don't think any of us are hurting for a piece of paper. Even fabric. There's so much fabric available and scraps, and we only need little bits to do this with, and we can pick it up at Goodwill or in the remnant bin. There's a lot of people around who would probably even give you their fabric scraps to do this with, and you don't need very much. And a smaller fabric scrap, you can make a smaller journal. But think about that. Just get over yourself. And then I thought, you know what? He's right. And when we get over ourselves, what does it do? It totally frees you up. We get over ourselves and it totally frees us up to just make. We want so much to make. Think of those times when you have the greatest fear. You want so much to make. Whoops, I should have watched that corner before I put it in, and I didn't. I better check them all because I didn't look very closely at it. We want so much to make, but we have this fear, and this fear is holding us back. And what is it doing? Is it serving us? No, it's not serving us in any way. But if we can just get over ourselves and let that fear go, and then we start making, is that serving us? Yes, because the joy and the happiness that we find when we make is wonderful. And then besides that, the things that we make, we can use to bless others' lives. So there was a lot of, that made a lot of sense, what he said, in a lot of ways to me today. I thought, yep, we just need to get over ourselves. I need to get something sharp. Do I have anything sharp around here? I don't think I do. Get over ourselves and just create. And enjoy it. And so what if somebody else doesn't like it? But it doesn't matter. We don't like everything. We've talked about this before. We don't like every single thing that every other artist makes because everybody has a different style. And it's not like we're all the exact same style. But it doesn't matter if what someone makes is not the style that I would take home and put in my house. I can look at it and think, wow, I can really appreciate the artistry and the creativity and the work and everything that went into making it. It doesn't even have to be my kind of art. I can totally appreciate it in that regard. And I know y'all can too. So quit worrying about trying to please everybody. Quit worrying about ruining a piece of paper because there's plenty of paper. And like I said, if you don't have a piece of paper to go to, just call me. And we'll make sure you have some. And let's just get busy and make. This is the year. Oh, ho, ho. Hey, wait. I might even have that right here. Hey, Candy. Candy, I think you're probably still here. Remember that thing I gave you the other day for files in the group? Did you already put it in? I got it right here. I think I got it right here. I had it right here. Ready for Monday. Didn't think about tonight. Maybe I put it away with the Monday stuff. Shoot. Yeah, I did. I put it away with the Monday stuff. Candy's going to put it in the group. But it is a printable, if you would like a printable of what this year is. We lost Glennis completely. Shoot. Well, if she can get back in, she will. Sorry. No, Candy, that's okay. That's okay. I just didn't know if you did or not. Candy will get that into the group later, but before she does, this is the year of what? 1, 2, 3. There's 3 things. Okay, just a second. I'm going to show you Candy's covers. This is the year of 3 things. What's the first thing? The year of mistakes can really bring out you're right, Kathy. That's the thing, is if you make a quote mistake, something you didn't intend to do, it just makes you have to think about it and think differently than you were. And there's always a reason why there's sayings. And you hear people say all the time, happy mistakes. And you're like, yeah, right. Why are mistakes? How can mistakes be happy? That's exactly why. Because if you make a mistake and it makes you think differently and have to do something different, then you might end up with something that you like better than what you were going to do because you were forced to do it and you didn't know you had that creativity inside. Okay, so number 1, I think Margie had it. I saw it just flipped. Yeah, don't worry about anybody else. Let's see. Number 1 is the year of organizing, the year of getting organized. I don't think that there's one single person that I've talked to in our group that has absolutely everything organized in their art room, studio, craft room, whatever you call it. And so it's the year of getting organized, whether it's getting completely organized, partially organized, something organized. We are going to work towards getting organized. And I'd really like you to pick something that you want to. It might just be one thing. Maybe it's your stamps, maybe it's your stencils, maybe it's your paper, maybe it's your fabric, whatever it is. Pick one thing and focus on the one thing. Maybe it's just one set of drawers, something like that. And if you want some help and some ideas, let me know, and I'll use that as a Tuesday tip, and we'll get lots of ideas from everybody on organizing that. Okay, I'm going to move the acetate now. But that's what the Tuesday's Tips in 10, it's in 10 minutes or less, is intended to do, is give you lots of ideas for organizing. And then the second thing I saw somebody say it, forgot already who said it. Glynis, there's Glynis backstage. Sorry about that, Glynis. Just saw you now. There we go. Can we hear you? There, we can hear you now. Okay. That was great. Did it kick you out, Glynis? Maybe she can't hear me. I don't know. Glynis, can you hear me? We'll give her a minute to get in. Okay, number 2 is, it is the year of releasing our creativity. And the best way to release your creativity is to do something new, to try something new. So Mondays have a dual purpose then. Mondays Jumpstart. Or Monday,
Marianne?
yes.
I don't know if you can hear me, but I've lost your audio.
Uh-oh. Okay. Somebody type in the comment that Marianne is saying she can hear Glynis, but Glynis cannot hear Marianne. So she's not muted. That's very strange. She can't hear me. So somebody tell her that Marianne says that she should go out completely. I'll remove her completely and she should try again. I'm going to remove her completely from the studio and she should come in again. Let's see. Kick from studio. I just kicked Glynis out. Okay. We'll see if she comes back in, if she can get some audio there. Okay, so 2 is releasing our creativity, and the best way to release your creativity is to try something new. Trying something new forces the neural pathways in your brain. Don't worry, I'm not going to get too technical here, but it forces the neural pathways in your brain to think differently than they always do. Because if you're doing something that you've done many, many times, you already have neural pathways embedded in your brain, quite literally, physically. And your brain just follows those neural pathways to do the same thing that you've done before. If you're doing something new, you don't have those because you haven't done it before. Therefore, it forces your brain to release creativity to do this new thing. And so if you want to release your creativity, even though it might feel a little uncomfortable to you, force yourself to do something new in any way, and it will help you release your creativity. It's a super easy way to release your creativity. So Mondays, we are doing that, and it's a dual purpose because Mondays, what we're doing is focusing on all the things that you have in your stash that you've never used, that you bought because you saw a demo and they looked really, really cool, or they looked like they would be fun to use, and you've never used them. You don't know what to do with them, or they're scary, kind of afraid of them, whatever it is. Can you hear me now, Glennis?
Yes, I can.
Yay, okay.
But what happened is as soon as I put it in the holder, it went nuts.
Okay.
So let me see what happens.
Okay. Sometimes the two side things touch on the buttons on the side. That has been a problem before.
Looks like we're okay.
Okay, awesome. Yay. Did
I have no idea what I'm focused on, though, because it's upside down now.
Let me take a quick look and see. Oh, yeah, we're just fine. I am looking straight down. Oh, wow, this is the best view we've had. It's perfect.
Oh, okay.
It is absolutely
because it's different than before I went to get the Tyvek.
Yeah,
So now I've got Tyvek down each side here.
So you guys see what she did? She did her 3 pieces separately. She covered the front and she covered the back. And then she put the spine on, which kind of goes over all 3. She put the Tyvek on the inside, where I put 1 piece of fabric around the whole thing. Still waiting on that back to dry. There. Anyway, number 2 is reduce your creativity. And number 3 is use our stash, or as Debbie says, use more paper so I can buy more paper. We all love pretty paper, but we have a hard time keeping buying it if we don't have any place to put it. So we want
funny how that's the part we all remember.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's the part we all want to do. We want to use the things that we have. I don't want you to buy things and then just have them sit there and, not ever use them. That's no fun. And I'm learning that even though I have beautiful paper and I hoard it because it's really beautiful, I'm learning that if I make something with it, I enjoy it much more because I get to see it through the whole process. And when it's done, it actually is something. It looks very cool and I'm very pleased with it. And it's just much more enjoyable, where I really thought it was the other way around before. So, that is what we're doing on the mass makes, using more of our things. Well, we're doing that on Monday as well, and we're doing it on Saturday nights when we make things. And on the mass makes, where we're trying to use up a mass amount of things to turn them into usable things. All these supplies are great, but all these supplies sitting in your room are not doing you any good until you can actually use them. Okay, so this is the piece of paper that I'm going to then use to cover the inside. I'm going to go back to solo here for a second.
Yes.
And this paper is not long enough to cover the whole thing. So I always grab two 8.5 by 11s. And what I'm going to do is cut this one. First, I will look here and see if I put this, if I center it exactly, is that okay? Or do I need to trim it down height-wise? And I think that's okay. It's about 1/4 of an inch on both sides, all sides. And I think that that's fine. So I'm going to just trim it width-wise so that it ends in the middle of the spine. And I will bring both of them together to meet in the middle of the spine. Okay. Now, before I do that, I could put Tyvek down here. Maybe I should. I could also put a piece of bookbinding tape, and again, something that I would have done before I glued this down and was talking and forgot about it. We'll look at this more with when we do the paper cover. But this is, I want to say it's a 2-inch, a 2-inch and a 3-inch bookbinding tape. And this is actually used for spines. So you can completely repair your spine with this bookbinding tape. Got it on Amazon if anybody's interested, or gaffer's tape. If you see that, you can even use duct tape. Duct tape works great. And what I'm going to do with it right now, you'd never see. So use duct tape. It won't make any difference at all. But it's more like fabric, like duct tape is. It doesn't tear like regular tape. And that's why it's bookbinding tape. So I am going to, just for the strength or the sake of strengthening this a bit, and like I said, I would normally do this before I glued the top and bottom down, because I would take it right up to the top. But I've already glued that down, so I'm not going to take it all the way up to the top. I don't want to take it past where my paper will cover. Little end is fold it over because I want my paper to cover it. Well, try to cut that straight just because it needs to be covered by the paper. It doesn't work very well. I need a longer. Not intended to cut sticky tape. It'll tear straight, that's for sure. Because it's very, what's the word? Like fabric strands in it. Okay, so I'm going to put that right down the center, and I'm going to, awkward. Just see where I need to cut it off. I'll cut it off right there. And I'll pick this up and just tear it. Okay, that's easier. So I'm just going to put this bookbinding tape down here. So this is where I always show you what not to do. This will work just fine, but typically I'd put it all the way to the top and bottom underneath underneath the fabric before I folded it over. Okay, and we'll need another one. I'm going to go the same length. I just have to start it, and it'll tear perfectly straight, nice and easy. Get this one close by. Okay, so I want to go right down here in between them so that this adheres to the fabric of the front cover nice and strongly. Okay, so there's a reinforcement of the spine, the hinges. So they've got fabric, which is not going to tear. Now they've got book cloth, book tape, which is book cloth in a tape form. That's not going to tear. And now I'm going to put paper over them, and that won't matter. It won't tear because the other two won't let it tear. So I'm going to, I want to measure it just to the center. I wonder, I'm going to see if this makes sense to look at the thing right below me to find my point of cutting them. Here, okay. So it's really at the first one. I'm doing this a real technical way, see? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Cut 6 inches. We'll see if this works. I typically do a lot of eyeballing. Oh, I have to stand up to turn around and get a little cutter. Left hand won't move. I just need somebody standing here to be an extra hand. Okay. I'm going to cut this at 6 inches. Now, fabric does not have to even be one piece. You can patchwork. Okay, how did 6 inches work there? Because that wasn't even nearly long enough. What in the world? Well, somebody out there is screaming at me, knowing that I can't count. That didn't work, but thank goodness there ain't 1/2 by 11 pieces, because this one will be long enough to meet it there, and it doesn't even matter. Okay, the reason it doesn't matter is because this is going to be just over the fold of the spine. I was going to meet him in the center of the spine because I'm still going to have to put in my signatures. And because I've already got this all together like this, odds are I'm going to be doing a hidden binding, which means there's going to be something else over the top of this paper. And so you're not going to see this seam. That's why it doesn't matter. It says here, I painted a couple of pictures on canvas following my Facebook Live. Nice, Mary. I saw the train Lucy dog to do it. That would be awesome, wouldn't it? That would be really awesome. I saw what was the little guy? The little guy you painted? Don't think you actually need the paper to go over the spine at all. I've never done that. You don't, it doesn't have to. No, it doesn't have to. I like it to just because, and actually, if this comes up, I usually do it just because if somebody happens to look down here, they see the continual color all the way. I don't know. It's just one of those weird hang-ups of, making everything look like it's complete. But when we end up with, yeah, I'm going to do that. I'll just cut it. I'll just cut there. Let me put this down first here. I'm just going to use some mixed media glue I have sitting here. Get this out of the way for a second. I just don't have a lot of extra space right there. Okay. Yeah, Mary did what oh shoot, what are those little guys? Gnomes. It was a gnome, right, Mary? Didn't you do the gnome? I saw the gnome. He's adorable. Candy did one of those paint along on lines lives and did a gnome. I thought he was adorable. In fact, that would be a really fun thing to do, even as a group. Try so that's definitely release some creativity doing something that, if we've never done it before. Yeah, I'm going to try some watercolor painting this year. I've never done that before. There's a lot of things never done before that I want to do. This is a good year to vow to do. Got a lot of things on the list that you guys have said that you have certain products and have never used them, would like to use them, either don't know how or kind of scared to because you don't want to waste the products and not use them right. So again, that's one of those things that if you've got things, shoot me a message and I'll make sure that they're on the list for the Monday jump starts where we're going to be using those products. Might run a bead of Fabri-Tac around the edge where it's adhering to the fabric when this kind of all dries, if that isn't down solid. Well, that's going. Let me go in here and show you what Candy's done. Let's see here. Wow, that's cool. There's one of Candy's covers. And look at the inside. Oopsie. See if I can. I don't want it to flip, and I'm trying to get that glare off. That's cool, Candy. Love it. Love it, love it. There's more angles. Now, she did some sewing on this. Somebody said that they always messed up the sewing, or the sewing was the scary part. Oh, that's gorgeous, Candy. Look at that. You don't have to sew. You do not have to sew. And what we're doing tonight is no sewing. I always tried, if I do sew something, I will always show you a way to do it without sewing, because I realize not everybody sews or not everybody has a machine. So there are a lot of ways you can sew a book cover, but you do not have to, for sure. So we're sewing nothing. We are sewing nothing today. You can sew at home if you want, though. And Candy, that was a perfect example. That's beautiful. Really beautiful, Candy. Okay, so now let's see if I can count right this time. Maybe I shouldn't talk while I'm counting.
Okay, I put my spine piece in 3 times before I got it right.
Can I show you? Oh, you are that before you did before. That's why you're saying you're having such a heck of a time with it.
So just now when I covered the inside?
Oh, do you want me to flip over to you?
Not really.
All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We need 8 inches on this one to make them meet. And that paper cutter is only 6 inches wide, but it happens to be 8 inches this way. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it does. So if I find pencil in there, yep, okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I make, geez, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I make a tiny mark right there. That is 8 inches. That's all I need to do. Can always make it work. And I put that little mark right there. There we go. Okay, get that out of the way. And now we have the other side. Why is that not straight? I glued it crooked. Wow, look at that. I glued it wonky. Oh well. We know that wonky works. I'll just cut this one if I need to. Oh no, that one ends up just fine because I did cut that one wonky. Well,
I've got my inside in.
wow. Okay, give me just a second. I'm going to flip over there to you so we can see. Okay, I'm going to have to cut. That'll overlap a little, which is probably okay. But I'd rather, well, you know what? That will overlap a tiny bit there, but it's better to overlap a tiny than have a gap. Even though the gap wouldn't be seen, it'll end up being covered, but I'm okay with that. So I'm just going to leave that be and glue that down. So let me flip over to Glennis and let's see her inside. Oh, that's pretty. Pretty, Glennis. Pretty.
Now, my paper, because I only had 1 sheet, I cut 2 pieces for the sides and 1 piece for the spine. And that was the one I put in 3 times before I had it too far one way.
Uh-huh.
And then I have my ridge under here for the gunnel for the pieces to fold up.
Wow.
This is a textured paper with like felt or something on it. So I'm having trouble getting the edges to glue down, but that's like strictly velvet. Because of, yeah.
Is that one of those from that,
yep.
That pack that we had last year?
Yep.
Yeah, those are gorgeous. Yeah, it's velvet. It's embossed velvet, raised.
It's beautiful, but the edges, I'm just having trouble.
Yeah, looks like wallpaper.
Oh, I just love it.
Yeah.
So this was, I thought, matched perfectly. And then after this is dry, I'll flip it over and put braid on the outside.
Oh, very cool. And now I forgot which direction. Let's see, I think that's the one. All right, give me just a second. Got glue on my fingers. You put this in and then I'll flip back here so you're still on.
Yep, just this velvet, it's beautiful and it's lovely to handle.
It feels,
that one edge
it feels so cool. You open that book and you've got that velvet inside. Will feel so neat.
Yeah,
but
so I might have to hot glue that one edge down just because of what the paper is.
And and you know what? That, like Glennis is doing, you put it down, let it dry, and then you see if corners are sticking up or ends or whatever, and then you go back and you give them a little more. You know, nothing ever has to be done, completed that first time. You can always add glue. You can always add what you need.
All I'll cover up on it, Lucy, will be where the signatures are in on the spine. On this one, I won't put anything, pockets or anything, because no, I don't want to cover that up either.
Because of that texture, yeah, it's like vintage. It's like antique wallpaper, where you'd feel the wallpaper and it would be like a flocked or a velvet kind of embossed, raised. It's cool. Feels good.
Or this is the other side.
Oh, so pretty.
So it can be, the theme for this one can be anything I want it to be.
I love that red, white, and black. I think this theme should just be red, white, and black. I mean, that theme could totally be Paris, or any of those just rich.
Yeah, there's so many of what I'm doing will fit into this.
Yeah.
And then the trim will go right down here, and that will help hold this down.
Yes.
I've got it doubled because it's thin, which is why it's wonky right now. But I'll take care of that when I put the trim down.
That's cool. That is so pretty, Glenn.
It'll all fold in.
So pretty.
So, Laura, maybe you can do something with it.
She'll make the covers. You do the insides. Is that the deal?
Sounds good to me.
I love the way you guys do that. The way you collaborate on stuff.
Well, we send stuff back and forth monthly. It's just great.
I love that. I think it's fantastic. You're like, I don't really want to do this part. You do it. And she's like, okay, I like that part, but I don't want to do that part. And or you're really good at this, and I don't feel comfortable. And yeah, I love that, the way you guys collaborate.
If it's got glitter, I get it. If it's got daffodils, I get it.
That's awesome. Is there anything that you both are like, I want it, and you have to fight over it?
Foxes and wolves, squirrels.
Okay. Okay, so there's the inside. Go back here. There's the inside of our cover.
You can put it all on you.
There's the outside of our cover. There's the inside of our cover. Ready to go. So, number of ways.
Those colors are great together.
Yeah, I love that blue with birds. Super pretty. Yeah, so there's a cover ready to go for that journal. Okay, should we do a paper one, Glennis? Moroccan. Oh, Moroccan would be pretty. So, yeah, does that mean, Laura says, does that mean that I can send you the pages and you'll do the horrible, horrible sewing signatures part?
No, she hates sewing in signatures.
Yeah.
But my signatures tend to be one higher than the other all the time. She doesn't mind that.
Yeah, that's funny. And, okay, so a couple questions here. Kathy asks, do you recommend covering the inside with fabric too? And I was going to do one. In fact, I've got one that I've got fabric to go on the inside if we have time and get to that one. You absolutely can do it either way. You can use paper on the inside or fabric on the inside. It makes no difference. Sometimes people have a cool outside fabric though, and they may not want the same fabric on the inside. They may not have a coordinating fabric. And I knew, just scheduling this, that everybody could find just a solid color paper that you could coordinate with. But yeah, absolutely. You can do, the paper that Glennis used is almost fabric-like. It's like a wallpaper fabric.
I guess flocked might be the word.
Yeah, flocked or embossed velvet, or I can't remember. There was it's probably flocked. It feels like velvet when you touch it. It's gorgeous paper and it feels so good. Okay, so Glennis, let's do us a paper journal.
It won't be as hard as this because I won't. The fusion glue did make it hard, but
okay.
I didn't want to use my hot glue on this because the fabric was so thin.
Yeah, that makes sense because you would see that a whole lot more through it.
So I've got my.
Oh, I love that paper. Okay, let me.
It's actually going to be like that.
That is gorgeous. I love that. That is some of my favorite from that paper pack. All right, I am trying to grab a magazine holder here that just fell over and is in my path of rolling my chair. Having to do it with the grabber. Okay, got it. All right, so I'm hoping to get through the paper one now and then be able to do a couple more fabric ones because I've got a couple more fabric ones sitting here. I'd like to do the cork one, and I'd like to maybe get the Japanese one done. Probably won't get those all done tonight, but let me see. I've got a couple things. Okay, I think I'm going to do this one. Well, no, I should probably let me show you. I have these pieces of paper. This is from a paper pack that is 11 by 17. Some of you probably have seen them. You probably never got them because what do you do with them? The 11 by 17 is perfect for covering a journal. And so I really like these. It's good. It's a good, strong cardstock. It's flexible, very flexible, but it's strong. And I can cover a journal with that when I want the base to be solid. And then, like this one, for example, I want the base to be solid. And then I want to be able to use her face on the cover. So I would put this down and then I will cut out what I want, you know, and have her face be on the cover. And then the theme of the journal will end up being this SeaWorld stamp. Debbie, now I don't know how to say it. I watched a whole bunch of videos and they all call it Stamperia. You know, all the guys from Italy and Hungary and wherever in Europe, they all call it Stamperia. So I watched a whole bunch of videos one day, and then the next time I said it, it just came out Stamperia. So for like 3 days, I've been saying Stamperia, not even thinking about it. It just came out that way. And then Debbie said, "Why did you change to Stamperia?" And I said, "Because of those videos." But then Stamperia is what we always called it. And now all of a sudden my brain doesn't know which to say. And I actually stammered over that. That was hilarious. I don't know. Do you say Stamperia or do you say Stamperia? So
on the Stamperia videos, they themselves say Stamperia.
It depends who you're listening to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, totally. If you listen to the guys from Italy, they say Stamperia. And if I talk to my rep and ask him, is it Stamperia or Stamperia? It's almost like they've made a decision not to say which it is. They say it's both, it's either, because they have like design team all over the world and they've got customers all over the world and everybody says it based on their country, their world, their grammar.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't know, I guess grammatically, maybe would it be Stamperia or Stamperia? I don't know. In Latin American countries, the emphasis would probably be on the ia. So, thinking of Spanish and Portuguese and some of those types of languages. So yeah, and I just happened to watch several videos of the guys who are all saying Stamperia. Other times it's Stamperia. So I don't know. If I say one day and one the other day, just don't hate me because I don't know how to talk because I don't know what to call it anymore. Okay, I want to give you a few ideas here. This is a paper placemat. This actually, wait a minute, this might be the cover. This might be the cover to the paper placemats because I don't think they all have this right down here. Yeah, I picked this up at an estate sale. I was so darn excited about this because these are paper. They are vintage, but it is thick enough paper that I would be totally comfortable using this as a cover. And isn't that gorgeous?
Yeah, that is.
And they're like,
that's really nice.
They are like 11 by 17. It's probably just the same as this black one. I think they're like 11 by 17. So that I thought would be really awesome. So I could even use this cover, which is even thicker, because that's way too wide, and I would end up cutting it at least here, but maybe even higher up, and so this wouldn't matter. And if it was on there, I'd just cover it with embellishments anyway. So that's an idea. And then there's papers that match that really nicely. And then
night, Jenny.
Night, Gigi. Glad you're feeling a little bit better. I thought this would make a really cool cover with all the drawers and knobs and little metal things. So I've got 2 of those. And then the inside of it, this is the flip side of this. It could be that, which is just kind of grungy
that's
fabric.
great. Yeah.
But I thought this might look cool on it too. And here's another one that's same colors, but it's different. That one's actually got music embedded in it.
Cheryl wants to know if you have those sheets for sale.
Which one, Cheryl? Are you talking about the
ones you're holding?
Oh, the ones in my hand or the placemats? I might. These actually came in some of those packs of like 25 or 50 or something. This is Bo Bunny, and this came in one of those packs of 25 where they're all the exact same one in 20 and the pack. And sometimes I've sold them as the pack where you just get the whole pack. Other times I've taken them out and you get a couple from a whole bunch of them. I honestly don't know how much of that I have left. The placemats. I thought that might be what she was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I thought about bringing some of the placemats out because I got it from this estate sale, and I only got this one pack. Honestly, don't know how many are in there. Well, it says 25. I don't think there's 25 left. $11. No, there is not. There is 11. If I use one to make a book, there will be 10. I might. Maybe that would be part of a special hot buy to open a sale, so those who are there on time would get it because there's not that many. That one I just had with the birds. That bird is gorgeous, isn't it? Okay, so and then this paper pack just has some really good. Oh, this has some really good pages for some of those fabric, the fabric with luggage on it. Postcards would be great inside. Book, in paper.
Yeah, those go good together.
Yeah, some of those, that would also be good. They would also be good for this one. So which one do we want to do? Do we want to do that placemat? Or do you want to do the, well, okay. Here's the thing. I guess we should do this one, and I'll tell you why.
Candy says those placemats are on Amazon.
Sweet. Nice. Candy will get me the link later, and I'll get an affiliate link on it, and I'll put it in the description box. Ooh, that would be pretty, Cheryl. That would be really pretty framed. I totally agree with that. All right, I'm going to do this one, not because it's the one I want to do the most, but because it's the one that does not have an 11 by 17 piece of paper. And so everybody wonders, what do I do if I don't have a piece of paper that long, with the paper? So I'm going to do that, and then I will bring those back out after and let you guys decide what you want to be the end paper on the inside. Sorry about that arm right in front of the
Candy says they have several different designs too.
Okay, cool. Are they from the same vendor, Candy? Okay. So let's start with this. First, I'm going to do the same, a 9 by 6. 9 by 6 because I know that I can just use my 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. And so I have another. This one is actually quite a bit thinner than the other one. So I'm going to glue 2 of these together for the spine because I want it to be a thick enough, solid enough spine that I don't worry about it. So got my Bearly Art glue right here, so I'll use that. They aren't the same ones, but they have several designs. Cool. These are made by, let's see if it says, oh, these are Michael Design Works, M-I-C-H-E-L. Michael Design Works. M-I-C-H-E-L. Michael Design Works. That'd be cool if I could get those in bulk at a cheaper price for us. They're really gorgeous. And I mean, I love them because they're gorgeous. I would obviously use them as book covers, but also because they're 11 by 17, they're so much easier, you know? 11 by 17 just saves you the work of having to put it together. It's already large enough. Okay, so I'm just going to put these two together, treat them as one. We'll give them just a minute to adhere. Probably should have just stood up and got my art glitter glued, but barely art glue it'll hold fast enough. Get the excess off. Now, I'm not worried about glue going through the cover on this one because it is paper. The glue is not going to go through. Yeah, we'll see if we can track them down. We'll get an affiliate link and post it in the group or something for anybody who's interested. Okay, there we go. So there's a nice thick spine. The spine's a little bit thicker now than the cover, and that's okay because we want that spine to be solid and strong because it carries the brunt of the weight and the force of using the book. Okay, so
I'm going to go off for a minute because I have to go get some bigger cardboard.
Okay. I'm going to mute you then, and when I see you come back, I will bring you back in. All right, before I even start thinking about covering it, I'm going to reinforce the spine with book binding tape, which is book cloth. And I'm looking at this, and you can see that there, that is not very much wider than this spine. So that tells me I'm going to put two. I'm going to put one that comes out here and one that comes out here because I want plenty of space for them to go over here to give it that extra strength. Okay, so, and I'm just, again, remember, there's so many different ways to do this. What I'm showing you tonight is super simple way. If you've never made a journal cover before, or maybe you've always done it in a certain way and you want to try something different and this is not the way you've done it, maybe you want to try it. I don't know. Okay. Lay that down. Now, what I'm going to do is cover the whole thing, and I'm going to bring it up over the ends and wrap it around. That'll give it a little bit extra strength. So all I'm doing right now, besides sticking to it with awkward hand, is measuring from the center. Let's see, I want just enough to pull it up over the top. And there we go. Because I just want these two pieces to meet in the center. And it doesn't even matter if they're exactly in the center because it's all going to be covered. This is like the layers underneath that keep you warm in the winter. Cut that a little bit and tear it. Super easy. Okay, then I'm going to pull out another one. If you look at a real book, the spine is always thinner than the front and the back. That is true, Lucy. That is true. If it was that much thicker, I'd probably worry about it. But it was enough thinner than the front and back. This is not, well, this is, yeah, a fairly thick chipboard, but, and that was thinner than that. I just didn't think it would have the strength that I want. So I'd rather reinforce it. Actually, this one I'm going to do right side up so that I can see where they're meeting. It is awkward with one hand. It'll pull up easily off my mat. I just don't want it to get on the chipboard. See about the length. About right there. And if there's any gap in there between them, it doesn't matter. It's going to be covered. Okay. So those are both down. All right. And then, then I'm going to bring this one over and leave that 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch so you have room to bend it once it's full and covered. Julie, here's the placemats. That's the cover. Is that not a gorgeous placemat? It's 11 by 17, so it'd be perfect to cover a book. And you could, it's way longer probably than you need to cover a book. Figure, yeah, 5.5 plus a spine. It's 11 plus a spine. Even if you did a 3-inch spine, that's 14, and it's 17. So you'd have enough room that if you wanted to shift it to get the bird on the front cover, or most of the bird on the front cover, or even cut off part of this frame to get the bird on the front cover, and then this would go around to the spine in the back. No, actually, probably couldn't go here. This is a good. You need to be able to wrap it around. So part of the bird is going to end up on the spine, unless you cut it, which you totally could do. And you could also do a bigger book to get that bird in there. But yeah, he's so pretty. I wouldn't even have a problem cutting it to make sure that I get him on the front cover, and then use some of this to piece together the back cover, and then you can always put something down there that covers that seam. But yeah, that is gorgeous. Oh, Lucy, how big of journals do you make? That would be great for a larger one. And there would be lots of cool little cutoffs for regular ones that would make great mini journals. Okay, that's about right where I want it. Press that in. Grab a drink, check the comments. These placemats are paper. They are nice, heavy paper, and they feel coated because they feel like they have added strength, but they don't look coated. They're not shiny. They're not shiny per se. They're just like a printed paper. They're really, really pretty. Candy got some different ones on Amazon. Here, Julie. This is the maker. It is Michael Design Works. Michel. They use this little elephant logo on everything. They make a lot of other things as well. You can check them out. Okay, so now I'm going to just pull this straight up. And you can tell I didn't get it exactly straight up the center of that spine. Doesn't even matter because this will all be covered and they meet in the middle on the spine. So it doesn't matter if one's over a little farther than the other. And press down in the groove for sure. All right. And now I want to do one more, and that is on the inside. Now this is where, like, Glennis used Tyvek. You can use Tyvek. You can use fabric. This is one of those spots where I say that there are so many different ways to make journals. There are a lot of other things you can do here. Again, I'm only showing you one simple way, but in place of this, anytime you receive a Tyvek envelope in the mail, save it. It doesn't matter what color it is or if it's written all over, because you put it under here for added strength and it's going to be covered. So Tyvek is great for this. A piece of fabric works great for this. A piece of duct tape. I actually have black duct tape. Works great for this. I can't see that direction. Let me see. I can see where it's going. Here we go. I'm going to do 2 again on here because I want it to fully cover those bends where the 2 covers bend. I want to make sure that there's plenty of strength, that it doesn't end up weak or tearing down here in the groove of the bend. And this is tape is fabric. It's book fabric made into tape. You know, you can get book fabric. It's not tape, just book fabric, which is this before it becomes tape. And you can use that to cover the whole book and then do your embellishments and things on top of it. And it has this kind of strength, which is pretty awesome. I've been trying to find a place or a way to get it at a discount for us and have not yet had luck with that. But I will continue. So like everything else, you want to start pressing it down in the center. Turn it around here. Start pressing it in the center and work your way out. Make sure you go down in the groove. Lucy, you are saying that the book cloth and the book tape are not the same thing? Well, that's interesting because I picked up a piece of book cloth and when I examined them, they looked and felt identical except for the fact that this one was adhesive. That's very interesting. I totally believe you. Lucy's a book expert. I totally believe that. So, Lucy, okay, what can you tell me then about each of them, about the difference between them? What do I need to know? Why did they look and feel the same? Even the striations of the weave. True book cloth has a paper backing. Okay. All right, Glennis, I have unmuted you. Sorry about that. I'm busy looking at comments and I totally forgot. I saw your arm and then I forgot to unmute you. I apologize. That was my fault.
I was asking, why did you switch from the paper?
I didn't. I am using paper, but all I did.
But you're not using the.
All I did with this was do the spine to the front and the back, only to give it the reinforcement. Like this is where you would use Tyvek. I used book tape, book binding tape.
But
go ahead.
Are you using the placemat instead?
No, I'm going to use this one.
Oh, okay.
This one. Yeah, and the only reason I'm using this one is because it's going to force me to use 2 pieces. And I know that often people don't have if 17-inch paper, so they're going to have to use 2 pieces. And so then they wonder, how do I piece this together with 2 pieces? I love that lavender.
That's good because I want to know if there's a better way than the way I've been doing it.
So how have you been doing it? Walk me through what you would typically do with those 2 pieces.
I take my paper. I'll only do it if I have 2 sheets, you see.
Okay.
And then I take my paper and I put the second piece I cut from the second paper.
Uh-huh. So you do the first one all the way over and then piece the second one on just the last few inches. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Okay. And you're talking about.
I was wondering if you had a way to use one paper.
Not that I like. Not that I like, because I want it to look like it's one page. I don't want them to see the piecing. Yeah, I want it to look like it's one page. So I don't have, where's the other one? Here it is. I'm just cutting off my branding strips and I'll go back there. Yeah, I don't have a way to use one without really seeing the piecing or having to cover it with embellishments there, but I would typically, typically requires 2 sheets. And okay, and then I would, let's see, here's my outside. I would decide, or I would kind of decide, I don't have to make the decision, but I would kind of think about what I think I'm going to do on the spine. Okay, because I know, I mean, sometimes, okay, here's another option. I have done this. When this black is a really nice trim to whatever paper I'm using, then I would do this, and then I would go back with one piece right down the middle. So it looks like it's only one piece. So this is covered. And then the 2 ends are going to be covered, but I've already reinforced it. So go back with one piece right down the middle. And then I would bring the paper right up to here. You can see that. And then on the back, I would bring the paper right up to here, right up to the bend. And then I would do the same as I did on the other one, where I fold them inside, glue them down, and then put an end paper or bookend, end paper on the inside. But then this black book binding tape actually becomes the spine and the frame. Did that make sense? And that uses less paper. In fact, it might, if you want that to be.
I'm changing my paper.
Not thinking about it, I didn't realize that you could do that with one. You wouldn't have as much to tuck around and glue. You'd be, because these are 6 wide. Yeah, these are 6 wide, and I'm going to leave enough to have a border there. So it depends on how much border you have right there. So you would only have maybe half an inch to tuck around and glue down, but you could do that with one piece of paper, actually. I always like to have 2. It's a comfort zone for me.
Yeah, I think I'll switch to this other paper here. It'll work.
That's pretty.
It's from the same paper pad.
So maybe the same, but I've never seen that type of book cloth. Okay. Well, I just need to order a bunch of different book cloths from different places and see how they all compare. Some book cloth is coated in something and does not have a paper backing, but the stuff with the paper backing is much prettier. Okay, that makes sense. Should not have said it different because I'm not. That's okay, Lucy. You have way more experience. Lucy's a retired librarian. She's got way more experience and knowledge about books than I do. So I totally believe and trust everything that Lucy says about books. You can also buy larger pieces of paper or wrapping paper if you want just one. Yes. Some wrapping paper is a lot thicker and nicer than others. Or you can make the book smaller. Yeah, absolutely. You can do a 6x6 book, or you can just cut this down. You could just cut this down either this way or this way, and know that you just want to take your 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper and chop 2 inches off, on one side or whatever it is. They don't have to be any particular size. Yeah, Lucy, do you have another source for book cloth? Debbie's been getting it off Etsy, but is there another place that we could be looking for book cloth? Okay, so let me think how I want to do this. First of all, I want to make sure that these are both facing the same direction. Is it directional? Yes, it's definitely this way or this way. There is some writing. Can you see that writing very lightly there? So this is top because the writing is up. And that one as well. Just thought those are cool. I even thought it might be cool to go through here and heat emboss some of these little metal things. What if we did those with embossing glaze so they still had that metal look, but were shiny? Like, I don't know. Might try it. Might try it on a scrap and see how it looks before I do that. Okay.
I have
So-
no idea what embossing glaze does.
We didn't get to embossing glaze the other day. We did embossing powder. We're going to have to do a whole nother Monday on embossing glaze. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that I'm going to probably end up doing something else on the spine. I don't know exactly what, but I might have some cool coordinating fabric that I'll put over the spine. In fact, wouldn't that cork look cool on the spine with this? I bet the cork would. And so I have, here's an option. So guys, here's how I think through. I mean, again, there are umpteen ways to do, Margie said it, there are as many ways to make a book cover as there are to books to make. Literally, there's no right, there's no wrong. But when you're looking at it and you're like, well, I don't know how to do it. I don't know what to do. Here's some of the things that I think about when I'm making those decisions or choices. Okay, I could bring these together here, have a meet in the middle, and I know I'm going to put something over the spine, so it'll cover that seam in the middle. And then I just, cut it off about 1 inch around, wrap it around, and do the same thing as I did with the other one. Or I could put another piece of bookbinding tape down the center, because that black does kind of look cool with it, doesn't it? Let there be a little bit, not too much, just a little bit of a trim right there. Or maybe not even that much, because I could still put something over the spine and the paper doesn't have to be there. I think I might do that. All right. So you just always have to consider your options and decide what way is going to work with what you like. Hi, Judy. Judy gets book cloth from Dick Blick. Have you done much shopping around for it, or do they have a decent price? I mean, not that it's cheap anywhere, but we'll have to check that out. Thousands of ways to bind a book. Don't get hung up on rules. Exactly. Lineco also makes book cloth. Oh, that's what Dick Blick carries? Okay. So we could search Lineco too to see if we could get that any places, find out where our best prices are. Sour cream and chives chips. Oh, nice, Julie. Used to have a local seller and a friend who sold it, so you're well stocked for a while. Also, a local woman that repairs and makes books. Oh, nice. I would love to find a local repair. They also carry books by hand book cloth. Ooh. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take another piece. I'm going to make sure it's longer than, I have to bring it over here to reach it to tear it. Make sure it's plenty longer than my spine. I'm not going to cover my spine with paper. I can't see that direction, so I'm going to go here. I don't want to get it on my paper.
That doing the fabric cover, I used up the last of my Tyvek tape. So what I'm using now is, I probably am pronouncing it wrong, but it's grosgrain ribbon.
Grosgrain
ribbon. That's what I'm using now.
That'll work.
Yep.
See, that's
Works
just another thing Glennis has remembered to bring up to show you that. So you're out of Tyvek. No big deal. There are other options. There's always options. Judy said it. Margie said it. There are so many different ways to make a book cover.
I don't know if you still sell this, but I got this from you.
Let me see. Oh, yeah. You know what? I still do have a bunch of Grosgrain and seam binding. Those work. All those things work. Oh, I've got a ton of it from a lady at an estate sale. Those are the ones that we got for like $2 a piece, right? I think so. Yeah, that was I think I still have some of that left. It's been a while since I even pulled it out. Yeah, if you guys need some.
So you're just butting them up in the middle? Is that what you're going to do?
what I did here, I decided to go back and cover the spine with one more piece. And now my spine,
Yep.
look at that. Yeah, looks perfect on the outside, and I'm not going to cover it with paper. So now I'm going to make sure I have this right side up. And I'm going to do just like I did on the fabric, but I can turn it this way to see right where it is. Bring it almost, I'm going to bring it almost to the seam, but I don't want it to go over the seam. Doesn't matter, that bend is probably going to end up being covered with whatever I put on the spine anyway. In the end, I'm going to give about an inch on each side. Wow, if I just leave it as is, I have about an inch and a half on each side. I might do that just for ease. And then I only have to cut, let me just see how many inches I need to cut that at. It would be a whole lot easier for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I need enough to fold over. 7. All right, so if I cut this at 7 inches, and I need to make sure that it's facing upright. This is going to be my front cover, and I need 7 inches, a healthy 7 inches this way. So where's the cutter that I just set aside? Okay, 7. I'm going to go 7 1/8, just to make sure it's plenty. Doesn't matter if there's a little extra wrapping around. Okay, and I know I'll need the same for the back, but if I want, I can take this piece and I can look here and see if it's good for the front. I can go over here and see, yeah, that would be good for the back. Okay, so I know if I do it the same size on the other one, it'll fit just fine. Now I want to look at what side of the paper do I want on the back. I've got this half on the front, so why don't I put this half on the back, because then it's got different prints on it. So that means I want it cut from that side. So I'm going to flip it over, put it at 7 1/8. Okay. And then I've got some good left over there to make some ephemera. Get that out of the way. All right. Now, you see, I mean, these are what we've done tonight is really so easy and simple. If I wasn't sitting here talking about every single step and stopping to read comments, you know, as we're going through, you see how quickly we could be moving through these and how you really could sit down and pump out a bunch of covers at one time. Now I want to make sure I have enough to fold over here. I do. Okay, so it'll be probably easiest for me just to put the glue right on here instead of on my paper, because I won't know where to end. And I don't want to go over the edge because I do need to miter it, and I don't want to get all gluey, all this stuff, you know. So I'm just going to do that. See if I can catch comments at the same time. Just did a course that did something very similar and it turned out super nice, Judy. Cool. Did you make a book, or what did you make? Was it a book when you did it? Post it in the group. We'd love to see it. That stuff is so inspiring. It really, truly is. Y'all tell me that, and it is for me. I know it inspires Sharon too. It's so inspiring to see all the things that everybody else makes. It makes you feel like, okay, I could do that too. And boy, that's pretty. I got to try that. Love seeing those things. Okay, this is
Your
just
comment reader is falling down on the job.
well, that I was just reading comments, so that would be me. I just came back to watch the glue for a minute because I was going to get close to the edges. Let's see. And if I get a little glue a little too far here that the paper's not going to, doesn't matter, because I'm going to end up putting something over the spine anyway, and it dries clear. So no big deal. That's the thing. Just as Tim says, get over yourself. Don't get so hung up on all the things that really don't matter. They really don't matter. We make things matter that don't matter. We think they matter. We act like they matter. We get all anxious and worried about things that we think matter, and they don't matter. Let's see. And if I need a little more glue under the edge, I can go back and do that too. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to go back here and catch.
Oh, I've got both pieces of paper going the same direction.
Nice.
Wow.
That's pretty. That
One's
paper.
crooked, mind you, but.
Oh, I love that paper. It is gorgeous. We can see the glisten. It's not glitter, and it's not over the whole paper, but some of those flowers glisten, and they are so pretty. Judy's right. We should experiment with any of them that we want to try. Oh, yeah, Lucy, that's a really good idea. That's a good point. You can paint fabric any color or any design you want for the spine. Say you want something and you can't find or don't have something that's exactly what you want, make it. We'll make everything else. You can paint fabric. Yeah, I'm excited this year to try some things that we haven't done before, to use and experiment with products that you have that you've never used, and some products that I have that I've never used. Open spine books save on paper and matting. Mapping. I think really cool, but I don't know how practical they are. Laura, I need to stop buying the junk food, but it stares at me all day at work. Tell me bag a bag of chips and bring home 5. Laura, yes, I have that problem too. Yeah, tell him 1 and he brings home 5 because, they all looked good and I didn't know which kind you'd want. It is hard to give up. I do love cucumbers though, and they are crunchy. Hummus. Yeah, hummus is sometimes yes, sometimes no for me. Apparently they make dessert hummus, like cinnamon flavor. Oh my goodness. Okay, I would try that. That does sound really good. Trying some new materials, new methods, and things that are different is fun. We should let loose and have more fun playing with materials and methods. Judy, you are so right. And Judy, I hope you can make the Monday jump starts at noon every Monday, noon Mountain Time, because that's exactly what we're doing on Monday jump starts. That's exactly what we're doing. So I really hope that you can make those. Okay, so there's the front. Held that down sufficiently so it's starting to dry. And the back, let's see, yep, right there. So let's get this all good and gooeyed up. Candy, if you're still here, I love, love, love these silicone spatulas, and they are way different than the one that I had. The one I had is intended for a much heavier medium, and these are great for the light medium like glues, and that'd be wonderful for doing napkins. So thank you for telling me about them. Somebody asked about them earlier. I said I will go in and get a affiliate link on them and put it in the description box afterwards, so you'll be able to go back in and get them if you'd like. I think it was a pack of 6, and I want to say it was under $5. Might have been $5 with tax. So I thought that was a pretty decent deal. And Candy's right. I love them. Love them, love them, love them. All right, so here we go with this one. I don't know why I can't do it that angle. Let's see. Is there part of this that I like better than other, not sure it really matters. Because there's plenty of paper, I could move it higher or lower and just cut off excess on the one end. Let's see. Some things we haven't tried equals more sarcasm from me. That's true, Margie. Margie laughs. Well, I like experimenting with things, and partly it's a way of tricking my brain. Okay, those of you who get hung up on I'm going to do it wrong or I'm not going to be perfect or whatever, if I tell myself I'm just experimenting, then I have absolutely no expectation about what's going to come out of it because I don't know. It's an experiment, right? Because if I go in with an expectation, then that's when we get all hung up on, oh, it's not right and it's not working and I ruined it and whatever. So I love experimenting, telling myself I'm just experimenting a lot. And yeah, I get all kinds of wonky results and it gives Margie good fodder for sarcasm. Margie, my sister from another mother, you know I wouldn't do without you. Okay, so I'm going to use, this is paper, not fabric, so I'm just going to take a regular pen. I'm going to put my miter tool in the corner here, or your miter chipboard that we talked about earlier. Going to make that mark. It's paper. I could just take a blade, a finger blade, and cut that right there. If any of you don't have a miter tool like this and you missed the beginning on how to make your own, it was very quick and easy. You maybe we'll just want to go back and check the beginning of this and make your own. And then remember the trick of the corner piece. I'll show you that again when I cut this corner off, because paper is where that usually happens for us. That was my biggest issue. Let's see. Sarcasm is just a little seasoning. Yes, that is true. Ooh, awesome hot mushroom dip recipe. Julie, that kind of sounds amazing. Really does. Why do you guys always start talking about food right at this time? So when we finish, I get off here hungry. Yeah, Laura's right. The best thing about these is that when that glue dries, it peels right off of it because it's silicone. I do love that. It's the easiest cleanup ever. Oh, Cupcake. She'll probably chew on this on silicone, but she probably won't destroy it like she does your brushes. Okay. Now I'm going to miter these corners. Let's see. I think I cut something gluey with these earlier. Should have grabbed my glue scissors. Hopefully they're fine. How can I hold this? Let's see. Might be off camera here, so I can hold it with my left hand, but I will do my best. Oh, that's so pretty, Glennis. Love those two colors together. Is that the inside or the outside?
This is the outside. The inside is going to be purple.
Oh, okay. So
I only had one sheet of the other one.
Ah, okay. That's why.
So I had to change.
You'll just have to make a smaller book out of that other one. Okay. So there's my 4 mitered corners. Now, this paper is cardstock, and it is quite thick. So before I go trying to bend it around and glue it, I'm going to just take the book and use it as my scoring tool and just bend it, get it used to bending. Again, I know I'm probably partly off camera, but that's as long as my right hand or left hand is. So I do see the doctor for follow-up on my shoulder on Thursday, and I'm hoping he'll give me permission to take it out of this sling where it's been strapped to my body all this time, at least while we're doing our thing. Okay, so if you have cardstock that is thick and you feel like it's going to crack or it's going to break when you fold it around, then you can give it a tiny spritz of water just to soften it up a bit. And that's never a bad idea. And I have a couple different spritz bottles, but this one spritz is fairly misty. Not great big drops, it's just fairly misty. And I might have just done that too much, but it's just a little mist. And that will help it to just fold and bend. And you get it glued down, and then it will solidify back hard, and you won't, hopefully, have a crack. Okay, so here's Debbie's tip with the corners when you miter a corner. And if you miter the corner and then you go to put it down and you have a gap in there and you can see your chipboard, you just take the corner that you mitered, turn it upside down so you have the outside of the paper showing, and glue it right there to the corner, to the very tip. And then when you fold your paper over, at least the same paper is underneath it so you can't tell. It's an awesome, awesome tip. Sylvia just talked herself down from Amazon. Almost purchased 250 count 11 by 7 black paper placemats. Sylvia, were they just solid black? Just solid black? That's a lot. So the pack that I have these black 11 by 17 pages out is a DCWV. If you want to look that up, there's a DCWV, and I have several of them, and they have different colors in them. So this one has like black and gray and white. Oops, don't know why I'm doing that, because I always do the ends first. That just means I gotta hurry and do this end. Yeah, so you don't have to get that many, and you can get a variety of the colors in it. I have one that is pink. It might have a couple shades of pink and white. I like this one with the black and gray. Some of it has black on one side, gray on the other. Some of it's black on both sides. Some of it's gray on one side with maybe white on the other. I can't remember exactly. But it does give you a nice variety. Glennis's cat steals washi tape. Laura's cat ignores the crafty stuff. It's afraid you're going to make it participate. Lucy's cat, when it was about 7 months old, tried to bring a large garbage bag full of old felt and wool sweaters up the basement stairs. Oh, that's hilarious, Lucy. That would be so cute to have on camera. You only bring it up at night, not during the day. Kitty Craft Challenge. He brings you, you use it. That's awesome. Ooh, the bamboo ones with wish list has floral and some white 11 by 17. Ooh. If you're in Amazon, Sylvia, search for DCWV and see if they have the 11 by 17 paper. It just might not be in 250 packs if you don't want that much, but you'd probably spend less, and so you can get a couple of packs of different colors. See, these miters work great. You just end up with some nice, clean, that corner, nice, clean corners. Whether you're using the tool you made with chipboard or using the metal miter tool. I just want to get a tiny bit of glue underneath there. There we go. Okay, I'm going to come over, do this side first, and a reminder, do either both sides and then both top and bottom, or do both top and bottom and then both sides. That way your corners will be the same. You won't have one with the side on top and one with the top on top. because sometimes we just grab things and start gluing around all four sides, and then you're going to end up with, what do we call it? The, oh, darn it. Margie, what's that fold? What's that fold where you get the all four on top of each other? One corner, then the next corner, then the next. Why can't I think of it? Brain just left. 9 o'clock, my brain just left. Sharon's kitty is still a baby. Cuppy's about 10 or more years old. Yeah, Sharon's cat runs over. Sharon's cat just walks right over the top of her keyboard, right over her hands. Her cat is the exact same age as Lucy, my dog. Sharon and I, on that day, it was funny. We didn't talk to each other all weekend, and I want to say it was a Monday, so we didn't talk all weekend, and then it was a Monday that we got them, and then on Tuesday we talked, and we both said, guess what I got yesterday? She got a cat, I got a dog. It was pretty funny, and neither of us knew.
You got the tiniest little puppy.
Yeah, neither of us knew the other was going to. She was teeny tiny puppy. She was only 6 weeks old. We wanted him to keep her till she was 8 weeks old, but nope. So we took her. She is the most amazing dog. Must just go with her name, right, Lucy? Lucy's birthday is May 23rd, and we both got them on July 6th, I think it was. Yeah, so they are both a year and a half. Yeah, cats are somewhat easier, in a lot of ways, I think. I do like cats in that I can put the food out and they'll eat when they're hungry and be done when they're not, and they often like their alone time. So they're not maybe quite as needy as the puppies. And boxers specifically are very people oriented. So they don't want to spend all their time alone. They want to be with their people. They're much happier when they're with people. They're very protective of their people. When Doug and I met, I had 3 cats and he had 3 dogs. It was a circus for sure. Okay. So other than stopping to talk through the choices to be made on this journal, you see how quickly it went together. That piece is still up there, so we'll just give it a little more glue. Get that down so this one can go over it. So if you choose to do this style and you do it once and you go, wow, that was easy, you can sit down and whip out a bunch of covers. Really doesn't take a ton of time if you're not talking to 20 people at the same time. Oh, cool. Hang on just one second. We'll take a look at Candy's paper cover. Okay. So if I leave that black, I could put black paper on the inside, and that would look pretty cool. That's a nice masculine. Okay, let's see here. Oh, I'm going to go full screen so I can show you Candy's. That's cool. Very cool looking. Look at that inside. Love that. It's changing the color of it because it's so bright. Wait, I wonder if I do this, if it might. It might be the brightness of the phone. Maybe if I bring that down, it'll show the color a little bit better. Ooh, that is cool looking.
Yeah, I love the color of that piece you have for the spine.
Yeah. Can you see the numbers on it? The edge is like measuring tape numbers, and you can see numbers going up the center of the spine too. That's very cool looking. Love that. Hey, Sarah. No, I didn't say Siri. Sorry. Oh boy. And did you say Elizabeth, or is that Sarah Elizabeth or Elizabeth Sarah? That's really pretty, Candy. Great job. Okay, so we are after 9 o'clock, so we will go ahead and wrap up. Probably. Let's see.
Well, mine's done except for the spine. I just have to put some trim on.
So you could put black on the inside of that. Yeah, and as we finish these up, we'll post them in the group, and might make a couple of more. Post a couple of more. Yeah, Candies, it's really beautiful. Actually, no pink. No, I didn't see any pink in there. Browns, greens with a brown, purple, and green inside. Yeah, I saw a lot of different shades of brown, a little bit of green, no pinks. That's why I turned the light down, because it was making it look pink, and it really wasn't at all pink. But yeah, very pretty. Oh, Elizabeth is the tiny human with Sarah. Oh, hi, Elizabeth. Welcome, welcome, Elizabeth. We're glad to have you here. Let me go back to Glennis here. She's just finishing that up. Put the purple inside. That is so pretty. Look at the outside. Love that cover. You guys can see how the white flower has that glisten on it. So pretty. I know that paper pack. I have that paper pack. It's gorgeous. That's going to be a really pretty one. What are you thinking you're going to do down the spine?
Probably a fabric or a lace.
Mm-hmm. That'd be really pretty with a wider cream lace.
I did like doing it this way instead of the way I'm used to doing it, to go over so far and piecing a bit in.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I always do something on the spine anyways.
Yeah, and that's the thing, is if you're going to do something on the spine, then put your seam there, because it's always going to be covered. The week that we made the idea books, the inspiration books, I wanted to use that paper, and I only had a small piece left, and so I had to piece it 2 pieces right here to make my back cover, and so I have a seam right down the middle, and I didn't like it, so I put a cool piece of trim or ribbon. It wasn't ribbon, it was trim. It was a wide trim right down there, so it's like a belly band on the outside, but it covers that seam.
Yep.
But if you do that all the time, then you're always forcing yourself to have to do something to cover that seam there every time.
Yep.
If you make sure your seam is at or on or near the spine, you know it's always going to be covered, because you always do cool spines. Even if it was one where you were doing your button thing down there, that would still cover it nicely. I like your button spines. I think they're cool.
I usually just do those on the golden books.
I know, but you could do a really cool vintage one with vintage buttons, lacy looking buttons, pearlized and vintage or antique buttons. I think you could do a really cool looking one.
Would you put your original back inside paper beside the cover? See the color of it again?
The black, is this the one you?
No, that nice rusty color you had.
Let's see. Oh, this one, I see. Okay, I brought out several for that. So this one, let me do this here. And let me bring the light back. That'll help a lot. This one has music embedded in it, and it's a kind of grungy blackish red. Pretty. The back is just grungy lined. That would work too. But then I think the one you were talking about was this one, where the front is the grungy black red, but the back is this one. Is that the one you were talking about?
Yeah. Yeah. That color is gorgeous.
Is that too busy?
Either the front or the back. It's gorgeous
Yeah.
color.
Do kind of like, hi, honey. My date's here to pick me up.
We're saying goodnight, Doug.
Say goodnight, Doug.
Lucy likes the black on the inside.
Yeah, the black does look kind of cool. And
I guess you're just going to have to send me that paper.
I think it just might depend on what is done with the spine. Because if I were to leave the spine black or do a black something over that on the spine, I do think the black would be very complimentary.
Oh, Margie's saying, hi, Kilt Man.
Oh, Doug.
Julie says, hi, Doug.
Doug. He just walked out. I will tell him. I will tell him. I think that would be, yeah, that would look cool too. But I do like this one. But if I didn't use this one as that one, I would use this definitely in the book as something. This is kind of a really nice masculine book. Yeah. I would definitely use that in it, Glennis, if I didn't use that inside.
More people are saying they like the black.
I think that this would make a really cool cover, honestly. Or this might be, ooh, Glennis, this might be the signature cover. The black is the end paper.
Oh, cool.
And this is the signature cover. What do you think?
I think that would be gorgeous. But then you can't send it to me.
And then that could be the other signature, another signature cover. All right. Okay.
No, we never did get to the cork.
We didn't get to the cork, but maybe I'll make one.
Night, Judy.
Maybe I will make one and then post it in the group. I really like the cork fabric, and I really love this on the end. I don't want to fold that over. I have to think about that. I might have to, I don't know. I'm not sure what. But you know what this tells me? That if I put the cork down and then I go get some Nouveau Mousse in gold, it's going to look really cool.
Oh, yeah.
I really like the way that is, though, on the end. And got all this little gold stuff in. And it's cork fabric. So that'll hold up nicely as a cover. So I will make some.
Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
Yeah, I will make some from that. And actually, I was thinking about this same paper as the inside, the end paper for this one. What do you think?
I think that'd be beautiful.
All those grungy ones kind of go together, huh? Yeah, Sarah stopped in to say hi, but now goodbye. Someone's getting fussy. Good night. We're all going anyway. So thanks, Diane. What a blow. Uh-oh, Julie. Computer is being mud. Yeah, there's some pretty ones there. The gold stuff. I know, Sylvia. I love it. I love this on the edge. When I cut it and I hunk off of it and I saw that, I went, whoa, that's really pretty. And embossed paper would be cool with the cork. Oh, yes. Yes, something embossed on the inside. Ooh, what about Braille paper as the end paper for the cork? Ooh, you have cork sheets you wish you never bought. I've got cork sheets too, Julie. Hang on to them. Hang on to them. We'll do something with them. You could.
They make good tags.
And then just put the cork on top of front and back and something down the spine. Yes, that is very true to you and Lucy. Okay. Oh, he's back.
I just want to find out if you want a salad.
Oh, yeah. As you walked out the door, Glennis was reading comments.
Oh.
Margie says, hi, Kilt Man. And Julie says, hello, Doug.
Hello, everyone.
And then I said, I'll have to tell him later.
Doug, did you get Lucy finished?
Not yet, no. I'm still working on her. it's been a little busy the last, couple of weeks with
Gimpy here.
Miss Gimpy here, unable to do anything for herself. So I had to stop doing that.
He hasn't had a chance to work on it since we had him on for New Year's.
And I started taking class at night as well, so that's keeping me busy on Tuesday,
remember
Thursday.
that very cool sculpture welding class that we were doing together that started last week? Yeah, well, guess who doesn't get to do it, and guess who's doing it by himself?
Oh, and you were so looking forward to that.
I was so looking forward to
we both
that.
were.
I'm excited that he gets to do it, but I'm sad that I don't get to. Julie says, I love hearing your voice, Doug.
Thank you, Julie.
Oh, funny. See, everything is Marianne's fault. It's Candy.
Oh, no, Candy, that is not true. That is not true.
Anything happens, they blame me.
If you only knew. Candy, if you only knew.
Oh, she does. It's always my fault.
Well, maybe online here, but in this house, for us, it's always my fault. And it's usually accurate,
too.
No.
No.
Because happy life, happy wife.
What? No.
Well, we're all going to say goodbye to Marianne now.
We don't play that game. Oh, Glennis, thank you for being on with me. I'm going to bring you back here so we can see your pretty purple journal there. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. Do we still have about a 12-second delay, Glennis?
I think it's shorter now. It's about 8 seconds.
It's actually not too bad.
Yeah, it got better after I rebooted it a couple times.
Yeah. And did it kick you out the first time, or did you go out to reboot?
The first time it kicked me out.
Okay.
But only once tonight. That's been it.
Yeah. So it only kicked you out once tonight. That's progress. So I think we did.
That's a huge improvement.
Yeah, it's always a man's fault. Margie said. Margie said.
I can hear Margie saying that.
What do you mean?
Oh, my husband knows that too.
Oh, right there, next to you. Okay. Yeah, her husband knows that too. That's funny. Well, Okay, gotta run. I got a date for Friday night dinner and a movie.
It's Saturday night, but that's
okay.
It's
Saturday night. Hey.
You're on Saturday Night Live, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do I know? I just do what I'm told when I'm told. Oh, good night, everybody. Just finished a purple journal. Oh, nice. Oh, guys, please post the covers. Please post what you did in the group. And do not forget to post your things that you did embossing from last Monday. Don't forget to post them and tag Glennis, because today's Saturday and Monday we have a drawing for everybody who did that from last week's Monday challenge. So don't forget to do that.
And just for your information, there's only 3 people on my list right now.
So those 3 people are going, no, please don't post. Please don't post. But yeah, that tells you, you got to get in there. Just post whatever you embossed from last time. Don't forget to tag Glennis. If you already posted it and you forgot to tag Glennis, go find your post, tag Glennis in it so you can still get in the drawing, and have a.
I usually go look for them.
Good for you. Thank you for doing that. I know I can always count on you for doing that. Have a wonderful Sunday, relaxing Sunday. Everybody stay safe. And I will see you Monday at noon for our Monday Jumpstart. And that event is in the group. So if you want details and you want to go in and look at it, I've put in the description box anything that we'll need to know. I got all the events in up to the beginning of February. So you can go into the events in the group and check them out. See, Julie, Candy, get them in there. Get them in there. Glennis, did you get yours in? You guys, I saw Sylvia.
No, I didn't.
A couple people. Okay. Well, you got 2. You got 1 day. They have to be in by Sunday night so that Glennis can get that list together and give it to me Sunday night or first thing Monday morning. And we'll be ready to go. All right. Thanks for hanging with me, Glennis. It was fun. See you guys soon.
Good night, everybody.